In the quiet space of a passionate soul, she took pride in her own existence. My name is Gu Qingxiao. The thing I love most in the world is reading Mary Sue comics. And that was how her life went on until one day, when disaster struck in the form of a mysterious notice from the void. Read Mary Sue comics 10,000 times to obtain a transmigration panel into a Mary Sue comic. Please await your reward. She screamed in despair as she realized reality was slowly dissolving. I don't want to transmigrate. And so the system brought her to a distant dynasty. And when she opened her eyes, she found herself in a completely unfamiliar place at the minister of the Secretariat's residence. In Gu Qingxiao's boudoir. Here she was. She was Gu Qingxiao, the precious daughter of the minister of the Secretariat's residence. Only after truly experiencing it did she bitterly realize that only once you've really transmigrated do you understand. Life in ancient times truly is not fit for human beings. A maid's urging rang in her ears. Miss wants to go mountain climbing, so hurry and pack the luggage. Thus began a grueling journey full of unnamed inconveniences. After sitting in a carriage for 3 days and 3 nights, she slumped weakly and longed for the modern world. I want to ride in a car. Suddenly seized by an urgent need that could not be delayed, a servant shouted as if announcing it to the whole world. Miss needs to poop. The servant replied at once, clearly far too used to this. Miss, the bucket is here. She looked at it and nearly exploded on the spot. Going to the bathroom here was unbelievably difficult, and that wasn't the end of it. Exhausted and driven by hunger, she gave an order, and the servant immediately understood. Miss wants chicken. The food was served right away. Chicken is here. She looked at the piece of chicken in agony. Not this kind of chicken. She tearfully turned to question the servant, though the girl understood nothing. Why did I have to transmigrate? An invisible voice answered with mocking cruelty. Because if you didn't transmigrate, you'd die. She had no choice but to accept that harsh truth, right? If I didn't transmigrate, I'd die. Realizing she had let something slip, the maid stood there blankly, doubting her entire existence. Did I say something wrong? Then she reminded herself of the laws of survival. I should probably just flatter and go along with people. The maid, unable to understand her mistress's change, asked in confusion, "Why, miss?" She sighed and explained the philosophy of transmigrators. Out of 10,000 kinds of transmigration, only flattery never fails. She looked into the distance. Originally, she had only one passion in life. I only liked reading Mary Sue novels, but reality turned out to be crueler than anything in books. But I don't want to transmigrate. I miss home so much. Luckily, a celestial master appeared like the light at the end of the tunnel. Gather the 4 divine beasts, open the gate of time and space, and you can go home. She clung frantically to that hope. No, master, how do I gather them? Tell me quickly, how do I gather them? He left behind only a vague prophecy. The fated ones will appear bearing divine artifacts. Benefactor, all you need to do is wait for the opportunity. And so her life quietly passed within the deep inner courtyards. 6 years went by. In this dull, ancient world, she realized an emptiness was gnawing away at her soul. A spiritual void gave rise to physical hunger. Her only joy was probably finding good food. Dawn, she came running in breathlessly while she was enjoying a meal, bringing news of an event that had shaken the capital. Miss, today the most famous Prince Duan Yu has arrived. Aren't you really going to go take a look? She muttered the familiar-sounding name. Just hearing the name makes it hard for me to swallow. Duan Yu? Is there really a prince with that name? Then she sank into fantasies of martial arts heroes. I wonder if my poor hero Qiao is here too. Tell me, is you if... The maid could only sigh helplessly. Miss is talking nonsense again. Trying to coax her out of her shell, Dong, she urged, Miss, tonight we're going to a banquet. She immediately looked for a way out, using the same old trick. I'm not going. Dong Shi, tell father I'm sick. Dong Shi flared up at that overused ploy. Miss is pretending to be sick again to avoid attending the banquet. She remained perfectly smug about her plan. There are plenty of ways to fool people, but pretending to be sick is the simplest. Dong, she looked at her mistress helplessly. Miss, do you even hear yourself? She calmly instructed her maid on how to act. No need to prepare anything. Just lie in bed, cover yourself with a blanket, and groan twice. That's enough. But that night, while white snow blanketed everything outside, a skillful hand stirred a pot of soup. And while she was secretly savoring a piece of braised pork so delicious it nearly moved her to tears in a hidden corner, someone somewhere had already set his eyes on her. When the aroma suddenly drifted over to him, She was gazing at the piece of meat with sparkling eyes, just about to scoop it up. Suddenly, memories of her family from her previous life came rushing back. Even if her own cooking wasn't bad, for some reason the bite seemed to catch in her throat, and tears fell from her eyes, speaking the sorrow in her heart. Then he suddenly appeared at the doorway and asked, "Why are you crying?" She replied instinctively, overwhelmed by the wonderful taste. "Because the braised pork is too delicious." Then, when she looked up and clearly saw his face, she was utterly stunned. How could there be someone so beautiful in this world? Faced with such peerless beauty, she could not help secretly resenting the unfairness of heaven. A masterpiece. Heaven really isn't fair. Days, she thought, if I took him back to the modern world, he'd definitely cause an earthquake. Handsome guy. If you lived in modern times, I'd absolutely make you become an idol. She sat there spinning dozens of wild scenarios in her head. Some kind of boy band idol and all that. And in that story, she chose to be his secretary, standing beside him and waving off reporters like a real celebrity. No interviews, thank you. Then she silently calculated the economic value of that face. I could definitely make a fortune from this. He curiously asked about the tear she had shed earlier. If it's good, then why were you crying? Caught right at the heart of it, she still calmly prepared to improvise. Maybe staying here so long had trained her into a professional actress. Putting on a composed front, she replied, "Because I'm afraid that after I leave, I won't be able to eat it anymore." He casually offered a solution full of authority. "Leave? Wouldn't it be enough to just bring the kitchen with you?" She shook her head at the difference in their ways of thinking. "You can't take a kitchen with you everywhere." The image of her family from her previous life still haunted her to this day. Then she let out a deeply philosophical line. "You wouldn't understand." Her words seemed to interest him quite a bit. He began probing into the identity of this strange girl. "What's your name? Are you promised to anyone?" Her face froze. She jumped in alarm and hurriedly tried to cover it up. "What?" "I faked illness and snuck out. I absolutely cannot let him know who I am." She quickly made up a false name and a fake engagement. "I am Xiaoro. The master has already promised me to the cook, Ada." Hearing that, he merely gave an "oh." But she seemed to have exposed a flaw, because he kept staring at the necklace she was wearing. His scrutinizing gaze frightened her. He stepped closer and made a rather improper request. "Miss Xiaoro, could you give me your meat?" She asked warily in the tone of someone guarding her possessions. "What meat? If you want it, where is it?" He cast his eyes toward the pot of meat she was about to ladle from. She didn't forget to warn him about market conditions. "Don't say I didn't tell you. Pork prices have gone up lately. It's very expensive." After hearing that, he sighed over the finances of the minister of the Secretariat's household. So Minister Gu is really that upright and incorruptible? It's so hard for his household even to eat pork. That line hit her with the weight of a mountain. She generously handed him the bowl of meat, though she wasn't all that bothered about it. "Here, take it." But seeing how detached and graceful he looked while holding such an ordinary dish, she thought to herself, how could someone make even holding a pot look like art? It was late at night, the moon hung high, and he quietly left. On the way back, the image of her lie, the necklace she wore, and the words she had said all left a deep impression on him. "I am Xiaoro. The master has already promised me to the cook, Ada." He saw through everything with a single glance and smiled darkly. "Silly little girl. Even your lies are sworn with such conviction. At least take off the jade pendant on your chest before talking to me." And that was the moment, in the spring of her 15th year, when Gu Qingxiao's first peach blossom of love quietly bloomed. Gifts apparently piled up in heaps for her, but she could hardly be bothered to open them one by one. Shocking news spread through every street and alley. Prince Duan Yu, a high-ranking official in court and an unmarried man, had become engaged. The young women of the capital cried out in anguish as if they had lost the meaning of life itself. Each split into factions. Some wanted to kill themselves. "The man in my heart is getting married, and the bride isn't me. What meaning is there left in living?" Another group lamented bitterly. "I'm shaving my head and becoming a nun. Prince Duan is engaged already. I have no more attachment to the mortal world." The rest frantically demanded to know the identity of the fiancé. "Who is it exactly? Who stole Prince Duan from me?" There was even a chicken among his fans. It decided, I refuse to lay eggs anymore. Statistics compiled from the jealousy of the young women showed girls of the capital investigating Prince Duan's marriage. Research proves 80 are women who cannot bear to see the prince with someone in his heart, and 90 insist that he remain lonely until old age. As for the remaining 10, it is said they are the prince's relatives. He went stiff as stone reading that bizarre statistical report. Meanwhile, Qin Xiao, supposedly the one blessed by heaven's luck, was in reality kneeling and begging her father. Father, I don't want to marry. I truly don't want to marry. Her father anxiously checked his daughter's health. No febe. Then he launched into a persuasive song praising the prince's perfection. Daughter, this is Prince Duan, unmatched in all the capital. For you to have such a fine destination in life means that even if I were to die now, I would have no worries. Don't worry, Prince Duan is talented. Once you meet him, you'll definitely like him. Prince Duan is an outstanding man. For him to look upon you at all is the blessing of your past 8 lifetimes. Her eyes lowered, full of unwillingness. She still held firmly to her goal of returning to the place where her family was waiting for her. One day, I have to leave here. I absolutely cannot become entangled with the people of this place. Since negotiation failed, she decided to save herself with her pen. That meant writing letters to break off the engagement, and her letters piled up like mountains while her determination ran deep as rivers and seas. She poured all her effort into this letter, expressing the panic of a sheltered young lady. She thought carefully over her wording. Your Highness, we haven't even met yet. How can we marry so casually? Then she used pitiful language to portray herself as frail and sickly, merely to stir sympathy. Your Highness, I fear I am not suitable. Please find someone else to marry. Then she cleverly belittled herself to discourage him. Your Highness is as beautiful as an immortal, making Qin Xiao feel ashamed of herself. I beg your Highness to choose another beauty. It truly was a letter polished word by word, brimming with sincerity, balanced between practical argument and cautious probing, a rare masterpiece indeed. But his reply shattered all her hopes. Prince Duan's messenger arrived with the response. First, His Highness says that Miss has already met him, so you're not strangers. At this point, who knew whether she had realized by now who that man really was? Second, His Highness says that with such a good appetite, Miss Gu must certainly be in excellent health. There is no need to use old excuses to refuse him. That seemed close enough to the truth. Third, His Highness says this. His determination to marry Miss is as firm as iron. He is extremely persistent. Hearing this, she felt as if her soul had left her body. In another room, she was lying neatly on a bed after nearly fainting from the shock, while he sat nearby, both watching over her and enjoying tea. She was sleeping so deeply that she was aware of nothing. A mysterious smile appeared on his lips. My beauty faints this easily? I wonder where all that food she used to eat even went. At last, she hazily opened her eyes, and he looked at her gently and said, You're awake. She sat up abruptly, bewildered, and questioned her own existence. Where's this? Why am I here? Don't tell me I transmigrated again? Which dynasty is it this time? Please don't let it be the Qing. I hate shaved heads. And that was the first time Prince Duan Yu, got a taste of being completely ignored. He coughed lightly a few times, trying to attract her attention. She jolted upright and screamed in confusion, Iron Pot Prince, you demon of a man, why did you kidnap me? He calmly explained why he was there. I did not kidnap you. Minister Gu said you had fainted, so I came to visit you. She ground her teeth in anguish at being betrayed by her own family. Despicable, my old father sold me out. She was too miserable for words. There really was no escaping this engagement. He set down his teacup, looked straight into her eyes, and asked for the real reason. Why exactly do you not want to marry this prince? Did this prince do something wrong? She replied firmly and sincerely no. I can't get married. I cannot like someone else, nor can I let someone else like me. Please cancel this marriage. It struck at his pride to hear such overbearing words from her. What exactly was she talking about? Yet her eyes right now were indeed pleading. Seeing that, he simply thought she was still too immature. So she's still just a child who doesn't understand. He began to use coaxing words, like soothing a little girl. I do not like you. She was startled by how direct and unreserved he was. Such frankness didn't seem like part of his scheme. He decided to reveal the true motive behind his marriage proposal. To tell the truth, this prince has always loved Mrs. Braised pork. I proposed only so that in the future I could eat it whenever I wanted. The more she listened, the stranger it sounded. A peerlessly handsome prince is marrying me over a bowl of braised pork? She tried her best to shift responsibility elsewhere. That dish was made by my family's cook, Ada. Just ask His Majesty to bestow him on you. That poor Ada had done nothing and still got dragged into it. He casually proposed a perfect solution for both sides. That's fine too. You could just bring him over as part of your dowry. She was left speechless, tears almost falling soundlessly. Then he used hard logic to force her into a corner. If you refuse this prince's proposal, others will come in the future. Given your father's position, how many times do you think you can avoid it? She was too dispirited to continue arguing, because she knew the result would be the same no matter what she said. He continued, if you do not want to like anyone, and do not want anyone to like you, then marrying this prince is exactly right. Since childhood, this prince has never lacked admirers, and I can guarantee that I have absolutely no hidden scheme toward you. Faced with such thorough analysis, she could only accept. Fine then. And so the marriage between Prince Duan and Gu Qingxiao was settled just like that, with rumors saying the thing that bound them together was a bowl of delicious braised pork. Because of this, Gu Qingxiao even rewarded the cook Ada with a plaque. Some said the token of love between Miss Gu and Prince Duan was the iron pot that held the braised meat. For a time, pork prices in the capital soared, and pigs suddenly became one of the most respected creatures around. She inexplicably became the savior in the eyes of the common people, the guanyin of the pork world. Gu Qingxiao, all under heaven, began praying for strange things. Please let my sow give birth to 14 piglets. Bless me, so that next year I can open 1,000 pork shops. The price of pork keeps rising. She was like a living bodhisattva, lacking only a vase of willow branches before she could answer their prayers. Sunlight streamed down over the minister of the Secretariat's residence in a pale golden hue. She sat outside the door, quietly enjoying this moment of peace. Then Dong, she approached her carrying a large bundle. Miss, I've already prepared what you needed. Looking at the pile of things, she sighed inwardly. So it's already the 9th day again. She hid the tremor in her eyes, because I have a secret I cannot tell anyone. Every 9th day, I have to deliver things to someone. It is someone I am very afraid of, yet someone I have no choice but to meet in a remote, desolate forest behind the minister of the Secretariat's residence. After much hardship, she finally arrived at a place. Standing before the stone cave entrance, she shouted, Lu Zijing, aren't you coming out to welcome your patron? The cave opened a crack, but instead of letting her in, he threw something out at her. Startled, she collapsed on the ground. She knew she had angered him, so she immediately surrendered first. Spare me, my lord. Only then was she finally allowed inside. The one sprawled there in arrogant ease was Lu Zijing. She walked over and flung aside the sack of things, spilling several items from inside. Looking at the pile of food she had brought with disdain, he said, You expect me to eat this disgusting stuff? He had been staring at her coldly the whole time as he spoke. Clearly you didn't want to bring it, yet you still had to deliver it to me. Such false sincerity. Aren't you even more disgusting than this trash? Grinding her teeth, she shot back. Enough already. If I hadn't brought you this pile of chicken necks, do you think you'd still be living here now? Suddenly murderous intent blazed around him, and once again she could only plead tearfully for mercy. My lord, please spare little Qingxiao one more time. He ordered, Pick everything up. She bent down to gather one item after another that she herself had just flung away, telling herself, I'll endure. But it seemed he always liked to test her a little. He stepped down and crushed her hand under his foot. She was speechless. Humiliated once again, she told herself inwardly, I'll keep enduring. She glared at him. He seemed to have no intention of stopping anytime soon, and he pressed down harder and harder. At last, when she could not bear it any longer, she spoke. If this hand of mine is ruined, then don't even dream of eating any more necks. He gave a cold laugh as he looked at her. That's fine. If I can't eat chicken necks, I'd enjoy eating people even more. Looking at his glamorous exterior, she cursed him inwardly. You peacock freak, neither man nor woman, I curse you to have daughters born without an anus and sons born without a thing between their legs. May your whole family not live past 30. She was about to say more, I must have been blind to save you back then. Before she could finish, he strode over, covered her mouth, and reminded her coldly, "How many times have I told you? You're not allowed to call me neither man nor woman." She hurriedly changed her expression, realizing she had misspoken. He looked at her, then at the hand he had been trampling all this time, and only then did he release her. With his killing intent withdrawn, he teased, "I was only joking. Why are you taking it so seriously?" She had nearly risen up in rebellion and charged at him. What was so amusing about that? But since she had no strength of her own, she could only yield. "Next time, at least act a little more half-heartedly." Then he looked at her with a complicated gaze. "The way you talk is always so interesting, Gu Qingxiao. To have met you is truly wonderful." She turned away and wept, full of resentment. "But I'm not wonderful at all. Just what sins did I commit in my previous life to end up being toyed with by this devil in this one?" Her thoughts drifted back 3 years, to when she had still been a naive young girl who did not yet know that life was a sea of suffering. She had gotten down from the carriage and skipped about sightseeing. "This place is so beautiful. I have to find the nicest patch of shade under a tree for a picnic." She ran off to play, forgetting she was supposed to bring her 2 maids with her. After wandering for some time, Dongshi searched for her in a panic. "Where has Miss gone?" It was only then that she realized she had already gone quite far. But more importantly, she seemed to see something. A man was leaning against a tree over there. At that time, Lu Zizhen was lying motionless beneath this cherry tree. She approached him and asked anxiously, "What's wrong with you? Do you need bandaging?" Hearing someone's voice, he slowly opened his eyes. The first thing that met his gaze was her standing before him. His instinct for self-protection rose at once. Her figure was faintly reflected in his eyes, and perhaps from that very moment, he remembered her. Even while gravely injured, he remained arrogant. "Stop meddling in other people's affairs." Yet she persisted. "But you're bleeding. Do you really not need your wounds bandaged?" He looked at her with a face full of wariness. Without the slightest trace of trust, she still stood there waiting for his answer until he noticed the special thing on her arm. A strangely relieved smile appeared on his face, and then he said, "I do need bandaging, so you'll take care of me." Looking at that face, she suddenly remembered the celestial master's words. Wasn't this one of the 4 divine beasts that Master Kong Kong had mentioned? She quickly agreed. "Of course, come with me. My house has lots of medicine." But his answer sent a chill down her spine. "No need for medicine. I eat human necks to heal my wounds." She stammered in shock. "Who human necks?" Her mind screamed, "What kind of world did I transmigrate into? They even eat human necks to treat injuries here?" She tried hard to find an alternative. "Human necks aren't easy to come by. Why don't we try chicken necks, duck necks, or goose necks instead? Maybe those would work too." The chickens and ducks probably felt a chill for no reason, though they could not protest. He fell silent for a long while before replying, "Let me think about it." She let out a sigh of relief. "That's great, but don't you really need me to stop the bleeding first?" He curled his lips. "No need. This blood belongs to someone else." Returning to the present, Dongshi came running in with a radiant face to report. "Miss, Prince Duan's party has arrived." Exasperated, she asked, "What does he want now? Does he want to eat the braised pork Ada made?" Her blunt remark left him speechless. Beside them, Dongshi could not help feeling sorry for him. Such a peerless beauty of a man had fallen into Mrs. Tiger's den, the beginning of a lifetime of suffering for him. Truly pitiful. He turned back to her and gently stated the purpose of his visit today, coaxing her. "There's a lantern festival in the capital tonight. I came especially to take you out for some fun. Don't tell me you don't like it." The moment she heard the word fun, her attitude changed at once. The bustling scene of the capital sprang vividly into her mind. "Will there be good food?" Smiling, he seemed to know this method of persuasion had worked perfectly. "Yes, all kinds of snacks. Your father has already agreed to let me take you out, so hurry." Amid the lively streets, she stood upstairs looking out over the picturesque scene. She also watched the beautiful girls singing below. "They're so pretty, and their voices are lovely too," he explained. "These female singers are considered one of the great sights of the Lantern Festival. Every year, countless princes and young nobles come here and spend 1,000 pieces of gold just to hear one song from beauty." She looked at them, then turned to him and said, "Hey." He asked back, "What is it? Are you admiring their beauty or admiring how high their price is?" She shook her head thoughtfully. "Neither. No matter how beautiful a flower is, won't it still be worn away by the years in the end? Could they really spend their entire lives singing like this? If it were me, I'd definitely think of a way to leave early." He stared at her blankly after hearing those words. In his heart, a mad desire for possession suddenly rose up. He wanted to swing his sword and cut off those wings, so that the butterfly would stay here and never fly away again for the rest of its life. She picked up a pastry and ate it happily, praising as she chewed, "This is so good. So even common things at the Lantern Festival are delicacies. Next year, you must bring me here again." He leisurely sipped his tea. Just thinking about the Imperial Guards in disguise all around today already made him feel a little tired. As she ate, she babbled on, cutting off worldly love. "You know, if I hadn't met you, there's more than a 50% chance I'd have become a nun in the future." He replied smugly. "So little Qin Xiao is that infatuated with me? If it isn't me, you won't marry at all?" She gave a mocking laugh. "Dream on. I'm only calculating how to avoid being married off. Tell me, other than becoming a nun, what better option is there?" Startled, he said, "What kind of logic is that?" She looked at him with practical eyes. "You are the best option because you will never love me, and you won't fall in love with me either. A person like you will only ever love yourself." He fell silent. "Love? What is that? There has never been anything I wanted and failed to obtain. If something cannot remain by my side, then let it disappear completely. If the eyes do not see it, the heart will not ache." The two of them returned once more to their original state. She reminded herself, Don't get angry at this old feudal fossil." Then she patiently explained, "Love means liking someone very, very much. When that person is happy, you're happy too. When that person is heartbroken, your heart hurts even more. Half of your world becomes that person, and that person's happiness becomes your greatest happiness. Now that I've explained it like this, do you understand?" He answered stiffly, "My world has always been under my control. How could it possibly be manipulated by another person's joy, anger, sorrow, or happiness?" She clicked her tongue. This boy is really like playing the lute to a cow. Then she continued, trying to lead him along with a story from a book. "Your Highness, I just happen to know of a young master with a name very similar to yours. In the past, he didn't know what love was either, until one day he met a young girl as beautiful as an immortal. He called her fairy sister, treasured her in the palm of his hand, suffered greatly for her, and committed many wrongs for her sake. But in the beauty's heart there was someone else, and she would not even spare him a single glance. Tell me, if you were him, what should you do after that?" He did not understand what she was hinting at. "What is that fairy sister's name? Is she really as beautiful as an immortal? How is it that I've never heard of her?" Disappointed, she said, "So theory and practice really are different after all." That answer is wrong. Still determined, she kept explaining the character in her heart to him. That beauty's surname is Wang, and her given name is Yu Yin. She is the daughter of a small, ordinary family. Of course your Highness has never heard of her. He coldly delivered his judgment. "If I cannot keep someone by my side, then I will make them all disappear. If my eyes cannot see them, then all will be clean." Alarmed, she said, "How can that be right? You should say that Miss Wang's happiness is your happiness. As long as Miss Wang is happy, then you are happy too." He looked at her with blatant possessiveness. "Silly girl, there has never been anything I wanted and failed to obtain." He suddenly changed his tone and asked, "What about you then? Have you already fallen in love with someone else?" She jolted and denied it at once. "What? A 15-year-old girl in the bloom of youth here? No. How old am I even right now?" Outwardly, he listened to her answer as if it were nothing unusual. But inwardly, he was so delighted he nearly wanted to throw a celebration. The moon shone round and bright tonight. At that moment, Dong Shi urged, "Miss, it's getting late. It's time to return to the residence." He ignored his displeasure, pretending not to hear, as if turning deaf to whatever anyone said. Then he turned back to her and coaxed again, "Stay a little longer. The moon is so beautiful tonight. You don't get to see it like this every day." Even the moon would never have expected that one day it would receive his attention. "Boy, you finally noticed me at last." She put on an obedient expression. "If I go back too late, it won't be proper. If father finds out, he'll scold me. Besides, it isn't safe to travel after dark." He teased, "So you do know what propriety is? I thought all you knew was how to eat." She stood up in protest. "I just happen to enjoy life, that's all." He assured her, "Your father won't blame you, and you needn't worry about traveling at night either. As long as I'm here, no danger will come to you." He He turned to his subordinate. Show Miss Gu your skills. As soon as he finished speaking, the guard vanished before her eyes. When he returned, he was already holding a flower branch in his hand. It was a blossom taken from the pagoda tree 50 paces away. His martial arts made her cry out in astonishment. Great hero, what is your name? He respectfully answered, This humble one's surname is Qiao, given name Feng. She nearly went wild with excitement. Qiao Feng? You really are Qiao Feng? My heavens, I actually met the real Qiao Feng. No wonder there's Duan Yu here. Who would have thought there would also be Qiao Feng? And he had never imagined that this move of his would result in him being thoroughly ignored. She grabbed his hand and bombarded him with questions. Hero Qiao, you're from the beggar's sect, right? Where's your sworn younger brother Suju? All right, I really want to meet Azu. Please arrange a chance for me. He watched with icy eyes. So little Qin Xiao is familiar with my subordinate. Beside him, Qiao Feng trembled all over. Excited, she paid little attention to his words and tugged at the man's robe. I'll know whether I'm familiar or not as soon as I check. I know he has a wolf tattoo on his chest. Her words frightened the man even more. He ordered Xing Si, do as Miss Gu says. Pull his clothes open and see whether he has a tattoo. Xing Si did not waste words and immediately went over to pull them open for real. When he was done, he stepped forward and reported, Reporting to your highness, there is no tattoo on Xiao Feng's body. Deflated, she sighed, so it's just the same name after all. I'm so stupid. How could I think I'd transmigrated into a world of martial heroes? He looked at her searchingly. Who is that Xiao Feng to you? Is he very important to you? She instantly made up a story. Very important. He was once a legendary master chef, especially skilled at making garlic meat. I wanted to eat food cooked by him for ages. Not believing her, he gave an order. So, there is such a great hero who is also skilled in the culinary arts. I have never heard of him. You needn't be so heartbroken. Xingxi immediately sent people to look for him. She turned away. Thank you, your highness. He instructed, it's getting late. You should return to your residence. She let out a sigh of relief. She could finally go home. From above, he watched her carriage drive away. Absently rubbing the jade pendant in his hand, he secretly gave another order to his subordinate. Xingxi, issue a notice and investigate every young man in the realm with a wolf head tattoo on his chest. If any of them happen to bear the surname Qiao, kill them on the spot. He looked up at the sky and said with murderous intent, The moon tonight is so ugly. It really should be cut down and remade. The moon had done nothing at all and still got dragged into this. Poor thing. The next day, at the finest cosmetic shop in the capital, a haughty young woman approached her. I had thought the daughter of Minister Gu would be some delicate, breathtaking beauty. Who would have guessed your looks are only this ordinary? Gu Qingxiao knew her well. Du Ryun, the #1 beauty of the capital, who had been infatuated with Prince Duan for many years. She silently retorted in her heart, Hey now, young lady, even if you are indeed prettier than most people, you can't possibly be this blind, can you? I'm not being narcissistic here. When I first transmigrated into this place, even I was stunned by this body's appearance. Then she pretended to be humble. Yes. Qing Xiao truly cannot compare in beauty to Miss Du. That only made the woman more irritated with her. She spoke in warning, Don't think Brother Duan likes you. He's only temporarily confused on a whim. In this world, no one is worthy of Brother Duan. I like to see how long you can stay so smug. She mocked inwardly. In this world, no one is worthy of him? Monks have nuns to match them, don't they? Does she think of Duan Yu as some kind of sacred beast, or what? Then Qing Xiao replied aloud, No one is worthy of Prince Duan. She continued flattering her, Yes. Miss Du is wise indeed. What Miss Du thinks in her heart is exactly what Qing Xiao thinks as well. Qing Xiao also knows her own place and cannot reach Prince Duan. I only hope Miss Du will quickly carry Brother Duan home with you. Furious and unable to out-argue her, the other woman snapped. How did Brother Duan ever find a freak like you? She calmly admitted it. A freak? I did transmigrate here out of nowhere and take over someone else's body. That really does make me a freak. She added a long stream of words that left the woman speechless. Miss Du speaks so well, so profoundly. To see the phenomenon and understand the essence. Truly, Qing Xiao is amazed. My admiration for you surges like rolling waves, endless and unceasing. Du Ryun completely broke down under her attitude and quietly left. Waving her hand, Qing Xiao called after her, Take care on your way out. Only after sending off that troublesome guest did she finally breathe a sigh of relief. When she turned around, she saw someone Lu Zijing had been standing there who knew how long, watching everything that had just happened. She was briefly startled when she saw him. "Oh no, the demon is here." He smiled mockingly. "What? You don't want to acknowledge me?" Trembling, she said, "Young Master Lu, you must be joking." He disparaged her looks. "It's only been a few days, so why have you grown uglier and uglier? You're not even as good-looking as that woman you just insulted into leaving." She took a deep breath. What a beautiful world. What wonderfully fresh air. Endure, endure, endure. Then she feigned ease and replied, "Yes, yes, yes." How could little Qin Xiao, who puts flowers to shame and humbles the moon, possibly compare to young Master Lu? He raised his brows. "You? Forget it. You truly can't compare to little Qin Xiao, who puts flowers to shame and humbles the moon." She muttered, "Why aren't you dead already?" Suddenly, he dragged her off somewhere. He tucked her under his arm and flew far, far away. Who was the idiot who said flying was mankind's lifelong ultimate dream? She shouted. "Why don't you try being clamped under someone's armpit and flown around for half an hour and see if it's uncomfortable?" Holding Qin Xiao in his arms, Lu Zijing asked coldly, "What? Is it that miserable? Shall I throw you down?" Qin Xiao immediately forced a smile. No, no, it's extremely comfortable." After a while, Lu Zijing finally landed. The moment her feet touched the ground, Qin Xiao started vomiting nonstop. Just then, she suddenly froze, confusion and shock flashing through her mind. Wait, today seemed to be the 9th day. No, today was the 9th day. As soon as the thought hit her, Qin Xiao turned around and asked sourly, "Don't tell me you digested that worm so fast? Or did you suddenly change your appetite today and want to have a taste of my neck instead?" As she spoke, her face darkened. At that moment, Lu Zijing was staring at Qin Xiao with a bone-chillingly cold expression. The longer he looked, the more frightened Qin Xiao became. She dropped to her knees and begged tearfully, "Spare my life, sir. Don't eat me. I'm not tasty, and my neck isn't even long enough." Tears streamed down her face as she spoke. That made Lu Zijing let out a helpless sigh. 3 years already, and you still don't trust me." Qin Xiao lifted her head slightly to look at him, then replied resentfully, "Who knows whether your promise back then was hiding some other scheme?" Lu Zijing looked at her gently and said, "Fool, since I promised to spare your life, then I will definitely do it. Why won't you believe me?" Qin Xiao immediately retorted, "Then whose fault is it that you're always tormenting me?" The moment he heard that, Lu Zijing lightly touched Qin Xiao's hair and smiled. "I only promised to spare your life. I never said I wouldn't tease you. Besides, your reactions are so amusing. You're not like other people." The more Qin Xiao listened, the more annoyed she became. "Freak," she cursed inwardly. Then she said aloud, "I really can't understand what kind of weirdos you find that they could put up with your abuse for so long." Lu Zijing declared, "No one endures it forever. Because none of them could make me happy, I changed them out over and over. Why are they all so stupid? They don't even know how to amuse me." His words left Qin Xiao gaping in astonishment. She thought to herself, this peacock really is an unmatched peacock. Just then, Lu Zijing suddenly changed the subject. "Right, fool. They said you're about to marry someone." Qin Xiao scratched her head and answered awkwardly that, "I don't really have a choice." Seeing that Lu Zijing did not seem to believe her, she immediately launched into a long explanation. "It's true. Why would I lie to you? To be honest, the prince actually took a fancy to Da's cooking in the first place. Marrying me is just using me as a shield. In his heart, I'm not even worth a bowl of braised pork." The more he listened, the more Lu Zijing frowned. "Huh, I don't believe that." Qin Xiao could only sigh helplessly. "Lu Zijing, I've never forgotten what I once said. That prince really doesn't like me. Besides, I don't like him either. Agreeing to marry him is just a convenient way to find a place to shelter from the wind." The moment she said that, Lu Zijing suddenly bit her finger lightly. Then he calmly reminded her, "When I'm not here, remember to behave." His action left Qin Xiao utterly stunned, and her face darkened at once. Though she was trembling with anger, all she could do was curse inwardly. "That violent peacock only knows how to bully me. If this were modern times, I'd call the police and have him sent to a psychiatric hospital." Meanwhile, Lu Zijing spoke leisurely. "Be good. First, take a look at what's on your hand." Qin Xiao glanced at her finger, and Lu Zijing explained, "With that there, No matter where you go, you won't have to worry about your life being in danger. Oh, and you only had to let me bite you once to take it with you. You really got a huge bargain. The moment she heard him say that, Qin Xiao recalled the past. Remembering how he used a clutch at what was hers, she thought to herself, back when we first met, I already saw that he was a wild beast. One that would use sharp fangs and claws to tear people to pieces. But I still saved him and hid him in a cave, taking care of him carefully. 3 years later, he decided I was weak and harmless. So he kept bullying me, dragging me out for amusement, and never once giving up that pleasure. But what he doesn't know is that if a hunter can catch a wild beast, her skills can't be too bad either. After thinking for a while, Qin Xiao suddenly put on a dejected, slightly sorrowful expression and said, Lu Zijing, thank you. There's one question I've held in my heart for a long time. Do your injuries really only heal if you eat next? Lu Sisenganser frankly. No. I just wanted to watch you run around, risking your life for me. Then I could watch you be angry, but not dare speak, and I found that very interesting. Hearing that, Qin Xiao was left completely speechless. She could only lament inwardly. Fine, now I know you've been tormenting me from the very beginning, you freak. In the boudoir, Dong, she was tidying the room while worrying to herself. Miss has been acting so strangely lately. No, that's not right. She was strange before too. Now she's even stranger. She was a proper young lady from a great family who had seen countless treasures. So why was she now smiling foolishly at a silver ring all day long? While Dong, she was lost in confusion. Qin Xiao, some distance away, happily thought to herself, all those years of serving Xiao Zijing weren't wasted after all. I finally got the 9-turn, clear tone. But before she could be happy for long, she let out a weary sigh. I wonder how Lu Zijing is doing now. Is he hurt? The more Dong she watched her, the more baffled she felt. Just now she had been grinning like an idiot, and the next moment she was sighing again. Miss really is strange. Far too strange. Sigh. Now she's spacing out again. So strange, really too strange. Sometime later, in the stillness of the deep night, panicked screams suddenly rang out. Miss has encountered an assassin. Someone get over here. Miss has encountered an assassin. Is everyone dead? Hurry and fetch a doctor. Inside the residence, Dong, she looked at Qin Xiao standing before her and asked in alarm, Miss, are you hurt? Before Qin Xiao could answer, Chun Xiang suddenly appeared out of nowhere, shoved Dong Shi aside, and hurriedly cut in, My poor miss, why is your fate so bitter? How could anyone bear to hurt you? Which blind wretch dared lay so much as a finger on you? Even if I must risk my life, I'll avenge you. The moment Qin Xiao saw this performance, she judged silently. Competition in ancient maid service is fierce, but this lady is overacting a little. The next second, she spoke aloud. I'm Fine. All of you, step back. Chun Xiang was stunned, while Dong Shi beside her looked openly delighted. Serves you right. At Qin Xiao's words, Chun Xiang could only leave helplessly. Qin Xiao pointed at the people in front of her and said firmly, I said all of you step back. You should all go back to your prince's residence too. The moment he heard that, Xing Si bowed respectfully and answered at once. Reporting to Miss Gu, His Highness ordered us to watch over and protect you. We cannot disobey the prince's command. That left Qin Xiao utterly confused. So how long exactly do you intend to stay in my room? Xing Si immediately replied, His Highness has received a secret report and will be coming shortly to visit Miss Gu. During this time, we must guarantee Miss Gu's safety, or our heads will roll all over the ground. We beg Miss Gu for understanding. In the circumstances, Qin Xiao could only go along with it. Wearing a worried expression, she thought in confusion, was it because of the assassin token or because of the 9-turn clear tone? Why did Master Kong Kong say that the spirit token could send me home? What exactly is the spirit token? Lu Zijing, how did you get it? And what exactly do today's assassins have to do with you and with it? Just then, a hand hurriedly pushed open the door and seized Qin Xiao's wrist. That person was none other than Prince Duan. He asked gently, Little Qin Xiao, how are you? Were you hurt anywhere? The moment he saw the current scene, the Minister of Rights sighed inwardly. Ah, once a daughter is married off, she's like water spilled from a bowl. Meanwhile, Dong, she was visibly thrilled and thought to herself, so cool. Even when he's anxious and rushing over, he's still this cool. That's just unreasonable. Though those two were thinking that, Qin Xiao felt something completely different. Full of irritation, she shouted, Don't hug me. You came just in time. Hurry and take this big lump of blackness away. In the middle of the night, a whole bunch of burly men are crowding into a young girl's boudoir. Are you people going to let anyone rest or not? As she spoke, she struggled nonstop. Ow, my backside is injured. Dong, she was just about to apply medicine for me. Why are you still standing there? Go, go, go. You're not allowed to look. The more the Minister of Rights watched, the more dejected he felt. Good heavens, how can this daughter of mine have no sense at all? Shouldn't she be rushing forward, pretending to be frightened and pitiful like a timid little doe? Shouldn't she be grabbing hold of the prince and weeping so he could comfort her? In his mind, the scene of Qin Xiao throwing herself into Prince Duan's arms suddenly appeared, along with her weak voice saying, "Your Highness, I'm so scared." Meanwhile, Dongxi beside him was also deep in thought. A handsome man like this is rarer than a bright pearl, yet mistreats him like this. Pitiful, truly far too pitiful. Seeing Qin Xiao keep trying to wriggle free from Prince Duan's embrace, the Minister of Rights sighed in dismay. She's not even half as good as her mother was back then. After a while, as Qin Xiao kept making a fuss, Prince Duan began to feel displeased. He let out a breath, then spoke with a cold expression. "Little Qin Xiao, are you so frightened that you've lost your senses? I rushed here from the palace in the middle of the night to see you, and you want to drive me away?" The moment Qin Xiao saw that expression, she was visibly alarmed. Looking at Prince Duan before her, Qin Xiao thought fearfully, woo-woo, so scary, so dark. His eyes are so dark, like the night without lamps, drowned in water. So cold. His hands are so cold too, like frozen aspic that's been stored in a supermarket for at least half a month. What the eye doesn't see, the heart doesn't grieve over. If I can't see it, I won't be scared. The instant the thought crossed her mind, she threw herself into Prince Duan's arms. That pleased him enormously, and a smile quickly spread across his lips. Only then could the Minister of Rights finally breathe a sigh of relief and say, "Oh my, our little Qin Xiao does know how to be shy after all." Dongxi beside him, however, did not think so at all and merely laughed inwardly. PSH, if Miss knows what shyness is, then sows can do exercises. At this moment, Prince Duan asked curiously, "Little Qin Xiao, did you get a clear look at who attacked you in the night?" Qin Xiao replied, "It was too dark. I couldn't see. I was really scared at the time. So, saw the..." Hearing that, Prince Duan's expression turned solemn as he assessed the situation. "That cannot be blamed on you. Those thieves must have taken advantage of the moment when the candles were about to be lit and split up. They truly are despicable. Right? Did you notice anything unusual at the time? For example, a scent or a weapon?" With a gloomy face, Qin Xiao answered, I only saw darkness. It was dark everywhere, darkness all around. I couldn't see anything, but your guards had me surrounded very tightly, and then I heard a clanging sound. It was terrifying. After listening for a while, Prince Duan lightly touched her hair and said gently, "It was all their fault. Although they rendered meritorious service by rescuing you, they should not have blocked your view and frightened you. I will punish them. You needn't think about it anymore. Be good." His words instantly left the guards speechless, their mouths hanging open in bewilderment, not daring to utter a word. Meanwhile, Qin Xiao was still immersed in her own thoughts. Silence. Silence is the guiding lamp to the future. In Qin Xiao's room, a small wound could be seen on her backside. The moment Dongxi saw it, she was startled and deeply puzzled. "Miss, this wound on your backside doesn't look like it was caused by a weapon." Qin Xiao replied calmly, When I was dodging the assassin, I accidentally bumped into Father's jade carving." Hearing that, Dongxi smiled and said, "But Miss is truly blessed with great luck. Aside from this little accident, it counts as no serious injury at all." Qin Xiao allowed a cold laugh at once. Do you think the assassin wanted my life? What they wanted was only..." But before finishing, she changed the subject. "But since I've already gotten it into my hands, of course I'm not giving it back." At this moment, it was as if the narrator's shadow appeared, praising how quick-witted Dongxi was. Naturally, she would not pursue the meaning of an unfinished sentence. Dongxi promptly said, "Well, of course, if one roams the Jianghu, one must surely have some skill to dodge blades. Your speed in changing the subject is absolutely top-notch too." That truly was the case. She smiled and gently changed the topic at once. "Miss is truly the most blessed woman in the world. All the women in the country must envy you." Qin Xiao was extremely puzzled by those words. Blessed? You think being held in someone else's palm is some kind of blessing? "Dong," she replied innocently. "To be protected by an outstanding man like Prince Duan, isn't that what every woman in the world longs for?" The moment Dong, she finished speaking, Qin Xiao picked up a small grape from the basket. Staring at it intently, she said, "Look, am I like this grape, lying in his palm? Look carefully. In an instant, she crushed the grape inside her hand. At her action, Dong, she called out in worry. Mississippi, meanwhile, as she wiped her hand, Qin Xiao explained calmly. Dong Shi, remember this well. Whether one is a person or a thing, one must never let someone else toy with them in the palm of their hand. Even being cherished in someone's palm is dangerous. Today it may be affection and treasure, but tomorrow it may turn into hatred down to the bone. The more she heard, the more puzzled Dong she became. Miss, what do you want to do? Qin Xiao smiled and declared with certainty, Me? Of course I intend to become the hand itself and crush the fate in its palm. At Prince Duan's residence, Prince Duan held a piece of jade and wondered aloud. So the one who tried to assassinate little Qin Xiao was connected to this figure? Xing Si quickly answered, that is correct. Although this subordinate does not know why they attempted the assassination, one thing can be certain. Miss Gu must have something on her that they want. The moment he heard that, Prince Duan gave a faintly appreciative sigh. Interesting. Then his face darkened as he ordered, Go investigate the whereabouts of those assassins. Once you find them, leave me one alive who can still talk. Missing a hand or a leg doesn't matter. Xing Si obediently accepted the order. Yes. After discussing that matter, Prince Duan changed the subject. Right, that man named Xiao Feng. How far has your investigation progressed? Xing Si respectfully replied, Reporting to your highness, we have currently found that across all 16 cities in the realm, there are 247 men named Xiao Feng. None of them have a wolf head tattoo on their chest. Hearing that, Prince Duan was slightly surprised. Then he ordered, then continue investigating. Anyone who fits the conditions, bring him directly here to see me. Xing Si obediently answered yes. But even after speaking, he remained kneeling in place without moving. This left Prince Duan very puzzled. Why haven't you left yet? Xing Si quickly said, Your Highness, wasn't your Highness furious today because we frightened Miss Gu and said you would punish us when we got back? This subordinate did not dare withdraw without permission. His words made Prince Duan a little surprised. Oh, you mean that? The next moment, he reminded him seriously, Xing Si, you've followed me for so many years. Can't you tell what's real and what's fake? She's just a plaything. Treat her a little better, and it'll be more enjoyable to play with her in the future. When you all put on an act, at least act the part properly. She's rather innocent and amusing too. If Qin Xiao had heard those words, she really would have cried herself gloomy. Wow, what a belly full of wickedness. On May 15th, Gu Qin Xiao prepared to take Dong Shi out to offer incense and worship Buddha. At that moment, Dong Shi was sternly reminding the servants, This, and this too. Miss likes to eat all of these. Bring them all. As soon as she heard that, Qin Xiao, standing behind her, immediately reminded her, Dong Shi, bring more pastries. We'll be out for 2 or 3 days this time. That left Dong Shi puzzled. Miss, Guanghua Temple is less than the time of 2 incense sticks from the residence. Qin Xiao replied calmly, Who said we were going to Guanghua Temple? We're going to Shangqing Temple. Her words left Dong Shi staring blankly. Full of confusion, she thought to herself, Shangqing Temple is in the outskirts of the capital. It's remote, and the incense offerings there aren't exactly flourishing. Guanghua Temple is much better. More noble ladies, more maids, more young masters, and more drama too. Something is definitely strange. It feels like Miss is planning to do something bizarre. Meanwhile, Qin Xiao was lost in thought. 5 years ago, she had already obtained one of the 4 spiritual items. She just didn't know whether she could really return or not. Master Kong Kong, you'd better not have lied to me. Towering mountain peaks rose majestically between heaven and earth. At Shangqing Temple, as soon as they arrived, Qin Xiao cheerfully said, I'm telling you, there's an immortal in this temple. The more Dong she heard, the more baffled she became. The next moment, she knocked on the temple gate. In no time, a young monk opened the door and said in a weary voice, What is it, patron? Dong Shi quickly replied, My young lady has come here, sincerely from the capital, to offer incense at your temple. We hope, little master, that you will open the gate and make things convenient for us. As soon as he heard this, the young monk refused. Amipa, Shangqing Temple is not receiving visitors today. Patron, please return. Those words made Dong Shi frown in displeasure as she demanded, How bold! My young lady is the precious daughter of the Minister of Rights and the granddaughter of General Yu Fei, one of the founding elders of the state. She came all this way today, sincerely, to offer incense. How can you drive her away like this? Even so, the young monk replied with complete calm and an unhurried expression. The abbot returned from his travels yesterday and is in secluded cultivation. Because of this, the whole temple will remain closed for 7 months. Forget the minister's daughter. Even if the minister himself came, he would not be received. Seeing the little monk like this, she was struck speechless and could only lament inwardly. Wow, what a tone. No wonder the incense offerings here aren't prosperous. Just then, a voice suddenly sounded from inside the carriage. So Master Kong Kong has returned. The young monk could not help but grow curious. Is this female patron an old acquaintance of our abbot? As she stepped out, Qing Xiao answered gently, "An old acquaintance? I suppose that barely counts." The next moment, she walked up to the young monk and whispered into his ear, "Please help me pass on a message. The heavenly king covers the earthly tiger." The instant he heard that, the young monk started in shock and blurted out, "The precious pagoda suppresses the river demon." Qin Xiao immediately answered, "Treat monks with the warmth of spring." The young monk quickly chimed in, "Right, treat pork with the ruthless coldness of winter." After saying the whole code, he finally seemed to realize something and exclaimed, "So it's you?" Qin Xiao asked in confusion, "So little master has heard of me before." The young monk immediately said, "I have." "So you're the camellia my master said appears only once in 100 years. I'll go inform my master at once." The moment he finished speaking, he hurriedly turned and left. Meanwhile, Qin Xiao called after him from behind, "Hey, it's Rare, not Camellia." At Shanqing Temple, as soon as she entered the temple, Qin Xiao said, "Master, you've gotten fatter." Hearing that, Master Kong Kong, standing ahead of her, gave a startled jump. The next moment, he turned around with a beaming smile and said, "Excellent, excellent. When the heart is unburdened, there is no worry, and without worry the body grows plump." "Patron Gu, we meet again." Qin Xiao immediately replied, "Amit Ba." To meet again by chance after 5 years. Who can blame it on the deep affinity between Master and me? Master Kong Kong asked gently. Well then, Patron Gu still cannot forget returning home, can she? All things in the mortal world are predestined. Coming has its reasons, and leaving has its principles. Why must you insist on forcing the matter? Hearing this, Qin Xiao raised a hand and answered, "Master is right. I'm only a mortal. How would I dare force anything? But destiny keeps giving me hope." As she spoke, she held up the 9-turn, clear-toned spirit token in her hand. The moment he saw it, Master Kong Kong was utterly astonished. The 9-turn, clear-toned spirit token. This is a sacred relic of the demonic cult that has been lost for more than 30 years. How did it end up in your hands, patron? Qin Xiao smiled calmly and said, "Didn't Master once say that I'm a prodigy seen only once in 300 years? Naturally, getting hold of it is nothing strange." Her words made Master Kong Kong unable to help agreeing. "So you have found it. Or perhaps one could say, it may have found you." As soon as he finished speaking, Qin Xiao asked seriously, "Master, please tell me, what are the other 3? You once said there were 4 things: heaven, earth, human, and vessel. None could be missing. Now I already have the vessel in hand. What exactly must I do to return home?" Master Kong Kong suddenly sighed. "Alas, all things in the mortal world are already determined. Coming has its cause. Wouldn't it be good to stay here? There are many people who would hope for you to remain." As soon as he said that, Qin Xiao dejectedly rubbed her eyes and said, "It's not good at all. Master isn't me, of course, so you wouldn't understand." At that moment, countless bitter complaints filled her mind. Was this a joke? Why did all transmigrated girls want to stay in ancient times and raise beautiful men? Communication here depended entirely on shouting. No airplanes, no trains, no internet, no computers, no chocolate, no flushing toilets, not even toilet paper. The more Qin Xiao thought, the more determined she became. "No, I have to go back. No matter what, I absolutely must go back." Just then, Master Kong Kong suddenly said, "Heaven is the imperial spirit." As soon as she heard this, Qin Xiao looked bewildered and quickly asked, "The imperial spirit? Could it be the emperor's soul spirit?" The moment she said that, she inwardly wilted. OMG, even though I really want to go home, I never once thought of stealing someone else's life, especially the dragon fate of the current son of heaven. However, contrary to what she thought, Master Kong Kong explained helplessly. The Imperial Spirit is an object, a divine artifact that has existed since the world was first created. Only someone with an extremely exalted destiny can carry it. The more she heard, the more Qin Xiao wondered, what exactly does the Imperial Spirit look like? Who has it now? Master Kong Kong replied, I do not know. From ancient times until now, only the master of the Imperial Spirit can see its true form, so its whereabouts have never been clear. Under the circumstances, Qin Xiao was suddenly stunned and thought, OMG, even though I really want to go home, I never once thought of taking someone else's life, especially the dragon fate of the reigning emperor. Then a thought seemed to spring up in her mind. Search for the Imperial Spirit. Gu Qin Xiao, MC of an exploration channel. Seeing that Qin Xiao was utterly confused and dejected, Master Kong Kong hurriedly comforted her. Back then, didn't I only tell you 5 words? 9-turn clear tone spirit token? And in the end, didn't you still find it? In an instant, Lu Zijing's words echoed in Qin Xiao's mind. Listen to me and look at the thing in your hand first. Remembering that, she found herself somewhat agreeing with Master Kong Kong's words. That's true. If it weren't for the 9-turn clear tone spirit token in Lu Zijing's hand, why would I have saved a stranger like him? Why would I have willingly let him bully me? Gu Qin Xiao absolutely was not the kind of person to make a deal at a loss. Having regained her optimism, she immediately lowered her head, smiled, and said, Many thanks, Master. Once I find heaven, I'll come back here to ask what kind of object Earth is. As she turned to leave, Qin Xiao sank into thought again. Right? I wonder if Prince Duan had hidden guards watching me today. But with Master here, they probably couldn't hear anything, right? But then again, Duan Yu, Prince Duan, isn't he one of the current emperor's most capable hands? A person with an exalted fate would very likely appear at his side. Perhaps the Imperial Spirit is in his possession. Looks like I should treat him a little better from now on. Meanwhile, behind her, Master Kong Kong stared at Qin Xiao's receding figure, his heart full of worry and unease. Buddha, tell me, was it right or wrong for me to tell her those things? Because they had returned to the city too hastily that day. Gu Qin Xiao and Dong, she decided to stay overnight at the temple. The young monk said politely, Patron Gu, if you need anything, just instruct this humble monk. Hearing that, Qin Xiao smiled brightly and replied, Little master, you're so nice to me. Her words made Dong she shiver and think, well, so you do know how to flatter people. At that moment, the room door shut with a bang. After a while, the young monk opened it and came out again. Then he bowed politely to Qin Xiao and said, Patron Gu, my master says we must treat you a little better. He said that if you still remain obsessed with old matters in the future, you must remember to pity the living beings here. No matter what, they are innocent. The moment he finished speaking, he turned and left. Dong, she was extremely puzzled. Miss, what was that little monk talking about just now? Qin Xiao immediately replied, I think they just finished reading a book called The Complete Guide to Transmigration, about how a woman from another world fights against fate, is wildly fought over by countless beautiful men, and ends up causing a heaven-shaking, tragic story. The more Dong she listened, the blanker her expression became, completely unable to understand. That night, while Dong she slept soundly, Qin Xiao was immersed in her own thoughts. Imperial Spirit. Oh, Imperial Spirit, what exactly are you? How am I supposed to get you? Do I really have to wait another full 5 years? No, I can't drag this out any longer. Master Kong Kong is already old. He could pass away at any time. The more she thought, the more resolute she became. I absolutely have to find Earth and human before the master passes away. Thinking of the Imperial Spirit, Gu Qin Xiao could not sleep peacefully, so she hurriedly threw on an outer robe and went outside. Lying on the temple roof, Qin Xiao thought, 5 years ago, my favorite place was the rooftop of the side hall at Shanqing Temple. Stop, please don't ask why every transmigration heroine climbs onto rooftops. The reason I climbed onto the roof of this side hall back then was simply because there happened to be a ladder beside it. Master Kong Kong is truly talented. The entire layout of Shanqing Temple was designed by him alone. This side hall is built almost like an observatory. The roof even has a slow perfect for lying down to rest. Master isn't immortal at all. He's an immortal. And immortals are always doing strange things. Master Kong Kong, You really did pick a good spot. At that thought, she immediately raised a hand toward the sky and smiled to herself. I ride the wind and return. Yet I fear the Jade Palace in the heights may be unbearably cold. Just then, a figure suddenly appeared behind her from nowhere, accompanied by the question, "Where is little Xiao going?" The moment she heard that, Qin Xiao quickly turned around, curiosity all over her face. The person she saw was none other than the cold and aloof Lu Zijing. Clear bewilderment appeared on Qin Xiao's face as she immediately asked, "You, why are you here?" As he sat down beside her, Lu Zijing answered calmly, "If I said I missed you and came especially to see you, would you believe me?" Hearing that, Qin Xiao asked in confusion, "Weren't you going to the southern frontier?" "Lu Zijing, what scheme are you up to now?" Lu Zijing lay down on the roof at ease and said with slight dissatisfaction, "Zijing sounds much more affectionate." As soon as he said that, the atmosphere suddenly fell silent. Looking at that strikingly handsome face, Qin Xiao thought, people all say Prince Duan is a celestial being descended to the mortal world, but they don't know there is actually someone hidden away who looks even more like an immortal. If one fine day he finds out I only saved him because of the 9-turn clear tone spirit token, what expression would he make? Seeing that she said nothing, Lu Zijing asked, "What? Staring in a daze? Am I that handsome?" That made Qin Xiao start in alarm, inwardly speechless. A flirt really is a flirt. Even if you gave him away for free, he still wouldn't change that narcissistic habit. Just then, a hand suddenly touched her face. Lu Zijing moved closer and said, "Am I very handsome?" Hearing that, Qin Xiao asked, "Don't you dislike it when people talk about your appearance?" Lu Zijing immediately replied, "It's different when it's little Xiao. Tell me, between me and that Prince Duan, who is more handsome?" Hearing him say that, Qin Xiao judged inwardly. How childish. Even so, she could only say the opposite of what she really thought. "You're more handsome." Naturally, that satisfied Lu Zijing immensely, and he quickly praised her. "Little Xiao really is clever. You know how to make me happy." The more Qin Xiao heard, the more helpless she felt, silently thinking, if I weren't a little clever, I'd have died hundreds of thousands of times already. The next moment, she changed the subject. "Hey, why do you always have to act in the middle of the night?" Lu Zijing replied, "That? Probably a habit." As soon as he finished speaking, Qin Xiao asked further, "That if I had just said Duan you was more handsome, would you have been heartbroken?" Her words made Lu Zijing suddenly let out an amused sneer. "Heartbroken? No, not at all. I would only carve a few lines into his face, cut off his legs, and tear out his manhood. In short, I make sure he could neither live properly nor die easily." Qin Xiao was utterly speechless at that. Ew. However, before she could finish, Lu Zijing interrupted, "Me what?" Seeing that, Qin Xiao didn't dare continue, and only said, "Nothing. Keep smiling." In the stillness of late night, only the stars glittered in the sky. After chatting for a while, Qin Xiao finally fell asleep. As he let her lean against him, Lu Zijing gently touched and stroked her hair as he said, "As for those people who ambushed you, don't worry. I'll deal with them. But I can't take their lives just yet. Just endure it peacefully for now. It won't be long." As that thought passed through his mind, he smiled to himself. "Don't die too quickly. After all, your life belongs to me." While they were wrapped in such intimacy, even the moon in the sky seemed unable to resist mocking them. Really now, with the night so long and so dangerous, how could anyone sleep so peacefully? As dawn gradually broke, Qin Xiao slowly opened her eyes after a long sleep, only to find that at some point she had ended up back in bed beside Dong Shi. As soon as she sat up, Qin Xiao felt sore all over and thought to herself, "Ancient wheat husk pillows really are hard. I miss the soft goose down pillow back home so much. No, wait, it seems like what I slept on last night wasn't a wheat husk pillow at all, but something soft and warm. Why does my head feel so fuzzy?" Looking back on it again and again, those guests really had been brought over by that seductive man, Lu Zijing. Who knew where Lu Zijing had gotten the 9-turn, clear, tone, spirit token? After taking his favors and his things, I really ought to be more careful and protect myself in the future. Who told me to accidentally take someone else's sacred artifact for no reason? The moment the thought ended, Qin Xiao immediately clasped her hands respectfully and said, "Amitabha Buddha, many thanks to the Buddha for opening his eyes and sending me home." That line was practically a slap straight across Zijing's face. The instant she stepped out of the temple gates, Qin Xiao became wildly excited and shouted happily. The sunlight shines everywhere. The birds are singing. The flowers have awakened. The birds are busy flying, and a happy life comes from labor itself. At that very moment, a voice suddenly sounded from the distance. I never knew you possessed such talent. The moment she saw who it was, she was shocked beyond belief. PPR Prince Duan. Even Qin Xiao froze in stunned disbelief, her face going pale. The man before her, mounted on horseback and impossibly dashing, was none other than Prince Duan. Qin Xiao immediately stepped closer and forced out a smile. What a coincidence. So your highness has come here as well to worship and offer incense? With a cold and gloomy expression, Prince Duan replied, Not at all. I came here specifically to find you. Those words immediately made Qin Xiao inwardly irritated. Dangerous character, dangerous character. This man is a dangerous character. No matter how upset she felt, she still had to keep smiling and cheerfully said, Your Highness must be joking. We only just met on a knife, and our homes aren't even far apart. If you had business with me, you could have had one of your men pass along a message. Why trouble yourself to come in person? The moment he heard that, Prince Duan's eyes turned sharp and icy. In the next instant, he drew his sword and pointed it straight at Qin Xiao. She was shocked and utterly confused. A thought immediately flashed through her mind. Could it be that he wants to kill me? I haven't offended Prince Duan recently, have I? No, could it be because of last night? No way, little Duan. Even if I did say last night that your looks weren't as good as that seductive man's, you can't possibly have come all the way here just to hunt me down, right? For one thing, let's not even discuss whether I really meant that or not. More importantly, those black-clad night guards are way too obsessed with drama. They actually went back and reported something this trivial, absolutely useless. While she was still lost in thought, the sword tip had already reached her throat. Right then, tears suddenly began streaming down Qin Xiao's face. The moment he saw that, Prince Duan smiled, then directly pulled her into his arms. As he lifted her onto the horse, Prince Duan said gently, Little Xiao, if I said that one day apart feels like 3 autumns, and that was why I came all the way here overflowing with longing just to see you, would that make you happy? Hearing this, Qin Xiao was utterly bewildered, her mouth hanging open as she thought, No, wait. Something about this is wrong. Very wrong. The moment the thought ended, she patted Prince Duan and reminded him, Why, Your Highness, this position is highly inappropriate. Prince Duan replied calmly, Be good. Don't move. This divine steed from the western regions is most afraid of being startled. If you keep wriggling around and agitate it, even Tenemi wouldn't be able to hold it back. The moment she heard that, Qin Xiao thought suspiciously, What? So you're actually that useless? You can't even control a horse? No wonder you had to raise a flock of male crows. Seeing the look on her face, Prince Duan continued, Scared? Don't be afraid, don't be afraid. This divine steed is a top-grade blood horse from the western regions, one that appears only once every 50 years. I only just tamed it yesterday, and then hurried here at once to see you. Well, do you like it? Its fur is quite long, it looks pretty sleek, and it doesn't seem to stink. It probably isn't some poor-quality animal. A divine horse from the western regions chooses only one master in its lifetime. Only someone it acknowledges can ride it. As he spoke, he lowered his voice beside Qin Xiao's ear. The privilege of me taking you out for a ride like this is something others couldn't obtain even if they begged for it. Well, are you happy? After hearing all that, Qin Xiao instead became even more indifferent. Who cares what kind of divine horse you have? Can it fly faster than an airplane? Is it smoother than a train? So what if it's a divine horse? Can it wait in line for people? Most importantly, who exactly begged to let me put my butt on it? As soon as the thought ended, Qin Xiao asked, What's this horse called? Prince Duan countered, What do you think its name is, little Xiao? The moment she heard that, Qin Xiao let out a snort and answered, If it isn't Gale, then it's Snow Treader. If it isn't Thunderclap, then it's Lightning. Anyway, it definitely can't escape being linked to some force of nature. Prince Duan said quickly, None of those, though you're close. Before he had even finished speaking, Qin Xiao smiled brightly and said, Tempest? Wild Wind? Or maybe Tornado? In any case, I know it definitely isn't called Morning Tide. After hearing those words, both the horse and Prince Duan let out helpless sighs tinged with judgment. Their reaction made Qin Xiao instantly suspicious. Prince Duan said, "It's called spring birth because it was born in spring." Hearing that, Qin Xiao asked in confusion, "Why does that sound like a person's name?" Prince Duan explained calmly, "So what if it's named like a person? Its life is far more precious than a human life. A horse like this is worth 12 cities. Tell me, isn't that worth it?" Hearing that, Qin Xiao couldn't help exclaiming inwardly, "Heavens, how extravagant, how wasteful. This spendthrift wastrel really is unbearable. Doesn't your imperial brother control you at all? How could he let you trade the land of 12 cities for a horse from the west? Not our country's territory. This horse was a tribute from the western regions." That envoy said they had traded 12 cities to obtain it from herdsmen on the frontier. The more Qin Xiao listened, the more uneasy and bewildered she became. That envoy was definitely lying to you. This is definitely your imperial brother's scheme. Clear spring water babbled onward, and spring flowers bloomed brilliantly across one corner of the sky. Sitting on Prince Duan's horse, Qin Xiao asked, "Then what about me? Between my life and this divine horse's life, which one is worth more in the end?" The moment he heard that, Prince Duan leaned close to her face and asked, "Is little Xiao jealous? This horse may be priceless, but how could it possibly compare to your golden smile? If you truly dislike it, I'll order it killed and skinned and have a pair of boots made for you. Would that do?" Qin Xiao immediately replied, "Skinned? Please don't do anything so impulsive because of me. Your Highness, if you rode this horse around twice and put on some kind of performance, I'd laugh a lot more." Her words made Prince Duan smile. In the next instant, he lowered his head lightly against Qin Xiao's shoulder and thought to himself, "This little cat truly suits my taste." Meanwhile, Qin Xiao was also brooding silently. Obviously, anyone with half a brain could tell His Highness had only been joking just now. So why did I take it seriously? After riding for a while, Qin Xiao suddenly seemed to realize something and hurriedly shouted through the woods, "Oh no, Your Highness, where's my Dongxi?" Hearing that, Prince Duan was utterly baffled. "We've already been traveling for more than half a watch, and only now do you remember your maid?" He immediately said, "I had Xing Si take her away for tea." At once, Qin Xiao's face turned pale, and in a panic she shouted, leaving Prince Duan even more bewildered. "What's wrong?" Qin Xiao stammered, that. Seeing her like this, Prince Duan immediately asked, "Is something the matter?" With glistening eyes, Qin Xiao answered, "Well, right now your guard isn't here. You see, you can't control this horse. Shouldn't we be going back? What if assassins suddenly surround us and try to kill us?" The moment he heard that, Prince Duan's expression darkened. Qin Xiao was instantly terrified. Oh, that look is so scary. She was so frightened that she didn't dare look him in the face. Tears welled visibly in her eyes. But after a moment, Qin Xiao abruptly changed expression. Still seated on the saddle, she began declaiming, "Run with the wind toward freedom. Pursue the power of the storm dragon. Hold the vast ocean's soul within your heart. Even a leaf boat can travel far. Fly high with dreams and wings. Dare to love, dare to act, and charge ahead bravely." The more the horse listened, the more helpless it became, until it actually spat. At that very moment, Prince Duan clapped a hand over Qin Xiao's mouth, and everything instantly fell silent. Qin Xiao turned her head and asked, "Your Highness?" Prince Duan said, "What is it?" Qin Xiao forced a smile and answered, "This doesn't seem to be the road to the minister's residence. Are you sure you're not lost? Also, do you have some other plan for little Xiao?" "Hey, where exactly are we going?" As Prince Duan smacked his horse and urged it faster, he replied calmly, "To eat meat." Shopkeeper Qian, the innkeeper, and an aging unmarried man had been sleeping soundly right on the stall. The next instant, his face showed startled surprise as he thought, Someone's here." The moment he saw Prince Duan and Qin Xiao appear, Shopkeeper Qian couldn't help sighing in admiration. The man is brimming with heroic spirit, the woman sweet and delicate. Truly a meeting that comes but once in a century. At this moment, Prince Duan dismounted and reminded Qin Xiao, "Get down." Under the circumstances, Qin Xiao could only force out a smile and answer, "It's too high. I am scared. Hey, someone help me. Just lend me an arm." At that moment, Shopkeeper Qian's thoughts took a very different direction from before. Could it be they aren't a couple? Is this a strict older brother and his delicate younger sister? Delighted, he immediately rushed forward. "Beauty, I'm coming." However, Before shopkeeper Chien could do anything, Prince Duan's face darkened, and he barked, "No one is allowed. Figure it out yourself. Even if you fall to your death, get down on your own." His manner frightened shopkeeper Chien so badly that his face went white and cold sweat poured down. He couldn't say a word. In the next instant, he wailed inwardly, "I have to protest. Even if you're handsome and rich and powerful, you still can't treat such an adorable young woman like this." Meanwhile, Prince Duan circled once beside the horse. In that situation, Qin Xiao, still sitting on the horse's back, cried pitifully, "Your Highness, who would have thought that today you would be one of those heartless men who only hear the new one laugh and ignore little Xiao entirely? So all those romance tales really were lies after all. I thought your Highness liked me." The moment he saw her like that, Prince Duan quickly went over and gently soothed her. "Don't cry, don't cry. Of course I like you very much." In the next instant, he took Qin Xiao's hand and led her inside, surrounded by a large number of guards. Prince Duan smiled and said, "I prepared a little gift for you. Brace yourself. Don't be too shocked." Hearing that, Qin Xiao sneered inwardly. What rare thing or bizarre person from Mary Sue's story haven't I seen before? The 100-flower hairpin can summon bees and butterflies. The cold ice jade pendant can preserve a corpse for 1,000 years without decay. Spirit wine can keep one forever young and immune to all poisons. There are even custom-designed love shackles straight out of a Torment and Obsession romance series. Earlier this year, someone even personally presented the heroine with a jade carving. Whatever you show me, I won't be surprised. Once everything had been arranged, Prince Duan's subordinate immediately ordered, "Bring out the minced white meat." At once, an enticing meat dish was served. The moment she saw it, Qin Xiao gaped in astonishment and asked, "Why your Highness wants to give me this?" Prince Duan smiled and answered, "Taste it." As soon as he said that, Qin Xiao happily thought, "Fine, you are pretty devious. You really did manage to shock me a little." Then she quickly reached her chopsticks toward the delicious-looking dish before her. As she ate, Qin Xiao thought helplessly, almost in tears, "Prince Duan, why can't you be a little more vulgar? You rushed 1,000 miles to this godforsaken place just to give me a whole table of meat? What kind of situation is this?" While she was brooding, Prince Duan asked, "Is it good?" Qin Xiao replied, "Very good." Prince Duan continued, "Is it the most delicious thing you've ever eaten?" Qin Xiao immediately confirmed, "It's the best thing I've ever eaten." Though she said that, inwardly she was lamenting nonstop. When your heart is broken and you're in despair, everything tastes the same. However, after hearing Qin Xiao's answer, Prince Duan looked delighted and immediately shouted, "Just as I thought. It's him. I've finally found him." Seeing his reaction, Qin Xiao was completely confused and thought, did the wind knock him crooked or something? Meanwhile, Prince Duan continued, "Little Xiao, do you know who made this minced white meat?" Qin Xiao answered innocently, "Wasn't it the kitchen of this inn?" Hearing that, Prince Duan smiled and introduced him grandly. "How could such common people possibly serve little Xiao? The person who made this dish is naturally the one you've yearned for day and night. The legendary master of the culinary world, Hero Xiao Feng." Those words shocked Qin Xiao so badly that she gaped at him and hurriedly asked, "Why, your Highness, are you joking with me?" Prince Duan replied with a smile, "When have I ever joked with little Xiao?" Even though he said that, Qin Xiao still refused to believe it. Impossible. How could they actually have found a real Xiao phone? This must be a scam. Prince Duan seemed to sense her disbelief and promptly ordered, "It seems little Xiao doesn't believe me. Bring him in." At once, his guard obeyed and passed on the command, "Bring in Xiao phone." In no time, a middle-aged man appeared wearing an apron. The moment she saw him, Qin Xiao's eyes nearly popped out as she stared in stunned disbelief and thought, that steam-bun face, those light bulb eyes, and that loach-like mustache, and that body like a ball of meat. This is Hero Xiao Feng, the once legendary master of the culinary world, the leading representative of the white meat school. Xiao Feng lowered his head respectfully and said, "Wild Chef Xiao Feng of the Western regions greets Prince Duan." Miss Gu. Hearing that, Prince Duan reminded her, "Little Xiao, why aren't you hurrying to greet Hero Xiao? I had to send out 400 elite blackguards and investigate 136 cities before I finally found him in a frontier town of the western regions. It was no easy task. The moment she heard that, Qin Xiao declared with absolute certainty, he is not Xiao Feng. Her words made Prince Duan highly suspicious. Oh, so little Xiao has met Xiao Feng before? Faced with that question, Qin Xiao hurriedly denied it. I haven't, but I know he absolutely cannot be Xiao Feng. He's a fraud. The more he listened, the broader Prince Duan smiled. Since you've never met him before, how does little Xiao know he is a fraud? Qin Xiao immediately pointed straight at Xiao Feng's chest and declared, he doesn't have a wolf head on his chest. Hearing that, Prince Duan calmly ordered, Xiao Feng, take off your shirt for Miss Gu to see. Xiao Feng obeyed at once. The moment Qin Xiao saw the wolf head tattoo on his chest, she was struck dumb with shock. She was so shocked that her eyes were wide and her face had gone pale as she thought in utter confusion. How can this be? How can this be? How can there really be someone surnamed Xiao, named Feng, with a wolf head tattoo on his chest, who's also skilled at making minced garlic white meat? I made all of that up. Can there really be such an absurd coincidence in this world? Meanwhile, Prince Duan remained perfectly calm and said leisurely, well, little Xiao, are you staring yourself silly? Isn't this the very person you've been longing for day and night? Faced with those words, Qin Xiao could only grit her teeth and silently swallow her misery. Boo-hoo. The next second, she spoke in utter despair, Hero Xiao, hello. As soon as the words left her mouth, Gu Qin Xiao thought to herself, boo-hoo. Jin Yong, I've truly wronged you all. If I'd known that whatever I said would come true, then even if you beat me to death, I still wouldn't have dared say that Hero Xiao would make minced garlic sliced pork. In complete contrast to her miserable expression, Xiao Feng beamed and said cheerfully, yes. It is rare indeed that Miss Gu still remembers my old title. To come here and make a dish for a kindred spirit to enjoy is also one of my wishes. The more Qin Xiao heard, the wider her mouth fell open in helpless shock. A kindred spirit? You. While she was still lost in thought, Prince Duan turned to look at her and said, Ichem, little Xiao, you don't seem very happy. Could it be that you don't like the gift this prince has given you? Gu Qin Xiao hurriedly replied at once, not at all. I'm just a little surprised. That made Prince Duan somewhat curious. Oh, surprised by what? Gu Qin Xiao answered, I just didn't expect Hero Xiao to be so handsome and elegant. The moment he heard that, Prince Duan picked up a small piece of meat with his chopsticks, then said gently, they're all dishes you like. Try them. As Gu Qin Xiao struggled to swallow, she asked, why is it that every time we meet, you prepare such a huge table full of food? Prince Duan smiled and replied, if I didn't prepare fine food first, how could I keep little Xiao here? You never deign to spare me a glance in ordinary times. Gu Qin Xiao immediately protested, objection. I simply love good food. As soon as he heard that, Prince Duan continued with polished ease. And what if you enjoy life? If you like food, I will find you the best chefs in the world. If you like fresh flowers, I will fill the palace with blossoms for you. If you like gold, silver, and jewels, I will lay the entire Duan family treasury before you. In short, whatever you want, I will prepare it for you. If the thing you like does not exist in this world, then I will create it. The moment those words came out of his mouth, Gu Qin Xiao was so stunned she broke out in a cold sweat. She could not help thinking, dear heavens, did Prince Duan take the wrong medicine today? Or has he simply reached that passionate stage of youth? The next second, she forced a smile and said, Your Highness, why go so far from me? Little Xiao is not worth it. Prince Duan answered with a bright smile, Of course it's not for you. I'm merely full and have nothing better to do. I'm teasing you. As soon as he finished speaking, the atmosphere suddenly fell silent, and the two of them focused on eating the food on the table. After a while, Gu Qin Xiao finally asked quietly, You're just going to let him stand there the whole time without even inviting Hero Xiao over for a bite? Prince Duan replied calmly, For a chef, watching others eat what he has made is joy enough. His words made Gu Qin Xiao's face turn pale with displeasure as she grumbled inwardly, What nonsense are you spouting? This man is getting arrogant again. All he knows is how to enjoy fine food, with no respect for other people. The next second, she politely asked, Where is Hero Xiao staying at present? Xiao Feng answered, I haven't returned to the Central Plains in 10 years. Other than this minced garlic sliced pork, all my other skills have grown rusty. At present, I can only work as a cook at the Yujian Inn to earn enough to get by. As soon as he finished, Gu Qingxiao said gently, "That miserable? Don't worry. Once I write a few words and hang them on your door, in less than 3 days I guarantee you'll be famous, with people lining up to eat your cooking." Her words left Xiao Feng staring blankly at her in great curiosity. Really? At that moment, Prince Duan also listened intently. With complete confidence, Gu Qingxiao declared, "Don't worry. It will absolutely work. In the capital, among pork connoisseurs, I'm considered somewhat well-known. Back then, just because I wrote 8 words on an old pot with a string of pork hanging from it, pork prices across the whole country tripled. After that, many pork sellers sent letters of thanks to my family. We had so much paper every day that we burned it as firewood. Oh, and quite a few gilded plaques were delivered too, all saying I was the benefactor of the pork trade. In short, my ability to appreciate pork is far from ordinary. When the time comes, you only need to tell everyone that these are the words written by Prince Duan's future fiancée, Gu Qingxiao." As she spoke, she took out a writing brush. Then, brimming with confidence, she wrote 2 lines. "Eat minced garlic sliced pork. If you love her, take her to eat it." Walking across the lush green meadow, Prince Duan asked in puzzlement, "Didn't you care about this horse from the western regions?" Gu Qingxiao immediately looked at the horse beside her and answered with a smile, "I'm here to cultivate our bond. Later, once I'm married off, won't I see it often? So I should spend more time around it first." Prince Duan smiled and reminded her, "This horse is very strong. Don't force yourself to ride it. Just walking it around is fine." As soon as he finished speaking, he turned and left, leaving Gu Qingxiao alone with the horse. Only after she was by herself did she ask, "Little Green, do you like it here?" The horse seemed strangely perceptive and immediately grasped what she meant. "Little Green? Is she calling me that?" With sparkling eyes, Gu Qingxiao asked, "Why are you here? Shouldn't horses be galloping freely across the grasslands?" "Ah, I forgot. You were brought here as tribute. It wasn't by your own choice, just like me." Hearing her say that, Little Green was so startled at thought and astonishment. "So many heroes have begged for the chance to ride me. How am I anything like a rustic little village girl like you?" Meanwhile, Gu Qingxiao remained entirely wrapped up in her own thoughts, gently stroking Little Green as she asked, "Do you want to go home?" The more it heard, the more helpless Little Green felt. What nonsense is this foolish woman babbling now? My master is as graceful, refined, and flawless as my own mane. Of course, I willingly follow him. Seeing that it showed no reaction at all, Gu Qingxiao pressed on, "What is it? You don't want to leave Prince Duan? Do you like him?" Little Green thought gloomily, "What do you know? This isn't liking him. This is admiration and reverence." Since it could not speak, Gu Qingxiao was able to pour out her thoughts freely. "Well, your master is a good person. He went to so much trouble to find Xiao Feng." "Ah, no, he shouldn't." Just then, Little Green's ears suddenly pricked up. The next second, it leaped violently into the air, leaving Gu Qingxiao flustered and alarmed. "Little Green, what's wrong?" In the blink of an eye, guards appeared out of nowhere. "Hidden guards," Xiao Feng urgently warned. "Miss Gu, be careful. They're assassins from the Mandala Tower." The instant she heard that, Gu Qingxiao was shocked and quickly asked, "The Mandala Tower?" The next moment, Xiao Feng and his men charged out and began fighting the Mandala Tower assassins fiercely. Just then, a hand suddenly landed on Gu Qingxiao's shoulder from out of nowhere. The person was none other than Zizheng. Wearing a mask, he spoke gently. "Little sister, what are you doing here?" Gu Qingxiao answered calmly, "Watching the fight." After hearing that, Zizheng asked further, "So you're watching the fight? By the way, why are they fighting?" Gu Qingxiao said, "Because of me." The more he heard, the more curious Zizheng became. "Why because of you?" Gu Qingxiao said, "Well, because I'm pretty as a flower and I like carriages. Their boss fell in love with me at first sight and wanted to take me back as a concubine. But this little lady is already engaged, and my fiancé is also a man of status. So he sent people to beat them up." As she spoke, she sighed helplessly. Meanwhile, after listening to her explanation, Zizheng immediately replied, "So that's how it is. May I ask what the beauty is called?" Gu Qingxiao replied, "I am of no fame at all. Just call me Ding Ding." The moment she finished speaking, Zizheng asked with obvious delight, "Ah, what a coincidence. I'm called Dang Dang. We were clearly born to be a pair, weren't we?" His words made Gu Qingxiao frowned in discomfort as she thought inwardly, "Big brother, you can actually say something that's shameless?" Impressive, truly impressive. Seeing her reaction, Zizheng immediately asked, "What is it? Does little sister Ding Ding not like the name?" Gu Qingxiao forced a smile and replied, "Not at all. Big brother's name is excellent, plain and easy to understand, catchy, and with a touch of wit. Among all possible forms of address, this name would definitely rank among the finest." Zizheng could not help praising her. Little sister Ding Ding is truly adorable. The more Gu Qingxiao heard, the paler her face became, and she said in confusion, "Not at all. How could I compare with brother Dang Dang?" As soon as the words left her mouth, she thought helplessly, "I can't breathe." This kind of conversation is mentally exhausting. Moving closer to Gu Qingxiao, Zizheng asked, "But pretending not to know me is not right, little sister. You clearly snatched the sacred object from my hands. Don't tell me you don't understand what it means to return it." At once, he reached out and touched her throat, then tightened his grip, causing Gu Qingxiao to panic in fear as she thought, "Brother Dang Dang, did you cultivate the 9-yin white bone claw or something?" Some time later, Gu Qingxiao slowly opened her eyes in a daze. As she looked at the scene before her, she asked in confusion, "Why are they still fighting? How long was I unconscious?" Zizheng answered calmly, "Well, when I counted to about 101, you woke up." His words left Gu Qingxiao so helpless and dispirited that she thought, "What? I was only out for 101 counts? Doesn't that mean just 1 minute and 41 seconds? I want to faint again." "Brother Dang Dang, I don't know whether to say your strike was too light or my constitution is too good. If you were determined to act, then why only knock me out for such a tiny bit? Couldn't I have stayed unconscious longer? You should know that after those transmigration girls wake up, they usually go through an earth-shattering ordeal." At once, a whole script sprang up in Gu Qingxiao's mind. Before they faint, the cold, handsome man beside them, overwhelmed with emotion, recognizes her as the woman in his heart and carries her away, anxiously saying, "Little Xiao, I love you. I was wrong. You're the most important one." Afterward, once they faint, if they're not picked up by some circling prince, then they're abducted by a cult leader. "Little Xiao, hold on. I'll take you to find a divine physician." Even if they are occasionally taken to some utterly unfamiliar place, by genre convention, the person, there is usually a high-ranking leader who will definitely fall madly in love with her. Then come misunderstandings, separation, more misunderstandings, more separation, basically turning things over and over like roasting sweet potatoes. Note, 99.99% of the time, he is a cold, vicious, devastatingly handsome man with peerless skills. Whenever little Xiao faints, every one of her lovers cries out in heartbreak, "Little Xiao, don't leave me. I only want you." Whenever a heroine wants to show frailty and tenderness, she uses this move, fainting. Whenever the handsome hero's villain appears, the same move is used, fainting. Whenever the author has no idea how to transition to the next plot point, the same move appears, fainting. But now, with just a single sentence, all the rules of my transmigration story have collapsed. The more she imagined, the gloomier Gu Qingxiao became. Just then, she suddenly turned towards Zizheng, who was observing the fight. In an instant, one of the mandala tower men was ambushed by him and dropped to the ground without moving. Fresh blood slowly spread out around the fallen body. The moment she saw the scene before her, Gu Qingxiao gaped in shock. Her face went pale as she thought, was that hidden weapon aimed at a real person, or was that just a stand-in? At once, she asked anxiously, "Wasn't he one of your men?" In complete contrast to her alarm, Zizheng answered calmly, "So what if he was?" Gu Qingxiao asked, "You're not going to save him?" Zizheng said leisurely, "Why should I? He was going to die anyway. Saving him would only dirty my hands." The moment she heard that, Gu Qingxiao was so shocked that she gaped inwardly in amazement. Such a classic line. The instant someone says this, the ultimate monster is bound to appear. The thought had barely crossed her mind when she blurted out in panic, "Brother Dang Dang, I'm very well behaved. I didn't see anything, and I don't know anything." As she spoke, she trembled in terror. Seeing that, Zizheng solemnly warned her, "Little sister Ding Ding, that man of yours is no simple figure either. He was actually able to break my bewildering art and find his way here." The moment she heard that, Gu Qingxiao curiously lifted her eyes and looked off in one direction. It was Prince Duan. He was holding a bow and arrow, riding Little Green straight toward her. Prince Duan's cold, detached bearing as he drew his bow looked incredibly dashing and heroic. Gu Qingxiao, however, felt none of that. She was only filled with fear as she thought frantically, "Little Duan, stop. You're shooting from that far away too? Who do you think you are?" At once, Prince Duan released the arrow. In an instant, it shot straight over Gu Qingxiao's head, leaving her frozen in shock, eyes wide and mouth hanging open. The next second, utterly terrified out of her wits, she fainted on the spot. Heaven had granted Gu Qingxiao's wish. This time, she really had fainted. A very, very long time ago, in a kingdom far away, there was a princess with skin as white as snow, black hair, and lips as red as roses. The princess's name was Snow Qiao. From the time she was little, everyone had marveled at Snow Qiao's beauty. Anyone who saw her praised her looks. But Snow Qiao had a wicked stepmother. She believed that she herself was the most beautiful woman of all. To verify this, the queen spared no expense and bought a talking mirror from the distant east. The wicked queen asked in confusion, "Mirror, mirror, tell me, who is the most beautiful one?" The mirror spirit smiled and replied, "The most beautiful one is Beckham." A handsome image of Beckham instantly appeared. However, it vanished again not long after. Meanwhile, the queen was so shocked she nearly coughed up blood and screamed, "Cow." Then she fell silent for a moment. "Why are you showing me Beckham? I asked about a woman." "A woman?" The mirror spirit replied calmly. Actually, what you just saw was my secret crush. After all, beauty is in the eye of the beholder." I lost control for a moment. Seeing this, the queen angrily snapped at once. "Stop. Tell me quickly, which woman is the most beautiful?" The mirror spirit promptly answered, "It is Snow Qiao." The instant they heard that, both the queen and her attendants went pale in astonishment. A furious shriek immediately rang out. "I'm sending the FBI to kill her. The most beautiful woman must be me." Because of the queen's terrifying jealousy, our poor Snow Qiao was forced to flee. At that time, Snow Qiao could only run all alone, fleeing endlessly. At last, the princess reached the home of the 7 dwarfs deep within the forest. The 7 dwarfs warmly welcomed her at once. "Princess, if you don't mind, stay here with us. We'll take care of you." "That's right, stay here. Beautiful princess, let's take care of you." But the queen was determined to become the most beautiful woman. The beautiful princess could not escape danger. As the queen looked at the crystal ball before her, she laughed sinisterly and said, Fools have fool's luck. But no matter, I still have one trump card left, at the house of the 7 dwarfs." The 7 dwarfs seriously warned her, "Princess, we're going up the mountain to hunt. You absolutely must not open the door for strangers. And you absolutely must not eat food given by strangers." Snow Qiao gently replied at once, "All right, I remember. I'll cook and wait for you to come back." As she diligently swept the yard, a fragrance drifted over from nowhere, making Snow Qiao intensely curious. "What is that? Why does this smell seem so familiar?" At once, Snow Qiao was drawn along by the aroma. The moment she saw someone cooking a pot of food, she could not help exclaiming, "How marvelous!" The queen, disguised as a passing cook, invited her with delight. "Beautiful girl, would you like to try a bite?" As soon as she saw the piece of meat in the woman's hand, Snow Qiao said without the slightest suspicion, "Wow, braised pork, and it smells just like something made by an imperial chef." The queen quickly replied, "That's right. This is a secret recipe I worked so hard to obtain from the imperial palace. Don't you want to try it?" Though she was already drooling with craving, Snow Qiao still said warily, "They told me not to eat food given by strangers." The moment she heard that, the queen asked, "Are you afraid I poisoned it?" "Look, I already ate some too. What are you still afraid of?" As she spoke, the old woman put the piece of meat into her mouth and ate it with obvious relish. Only after seeing this did Snow Qiao finally relax. Her face lit up with excitement as she replied happily, "All right then. If you've already eaten, I'm not afraid anymore." At once, she also lifted the delicious piece of meat to her mouth. Snow Qiao quickly savored its wonderful taste. However, little by little, her eyes fixed shut and she stopped moving. The very next second, Snow Qiao collapsed stiffly onto the cold ground. The moment she saw that, the wicked queen was overjoyed. She burst out laughing and said, "Fool, you ate braised meat, while I ate braised ribs. Of course you were the one who got poisoned. From now on, the title of the most beautiful woman belongs to me." At the 7 dwarfs' house, loud cries full of sympathy and sorrow suddenly rang out. "Oh, beautiful princess, How could you leave so suddenly without even saying goodbye to us? What's your bank password? Who's the beneficiary of your insurance? You should at least have left a will so we'd know how to divide your property. Tears were useless, and the princess still showed no sign of coming back to life. The seven dwarfs placed Snow Qiao in a glass coffin, intending to take her back to the royal palace. Before they had gone very far, the seven dwarfs suddenly froze where they stood, staring blankly ahead. It was Prince Duan, the ultimate noodle fanatic, whose favorite food in the world was noodles, appearing out of nowhere with elegant grace and striking good looks. The moment he saw Snow Qiao lying in the ice coffin, he exclaimed in shock, "Oh, I've never seen a girl this beautiful. Slender figure, flat chest, skin as white as snow. Heavens, she's the most noodle-like person I've ever met. Please sell her to me. I'll turn her into a treasure in my noodle museum." As soon as they heard those words, the seven dwarfs were astonished and immediately began calculating in their hearts. "He looks rich. How high should we name the price? No, we should still sell her to the king. That would definitely bring more money." While they were still lost in thought, Prince Duan pulled out a bag of gold. The instant they saw it, the seven dwarfs' eyes lit up as they cried, "Money! So much money!" Because they were so overwhelmed, they threw their hands up excitedly, causing the ice coffin to slip and crash straight to the ground. That impact also sent the piece of meat in Snow Qiao's mouth flying out. At once, she suddenly woke up and asked in utter confusion, "Where is this? Why am I here?" The instant he saw that she had awakened, Prince Duan spoke with a dark and chilly expression. "Oh, so you came back to life? If you can talk and move, then you're not like noodles anymore." His manner was so terrifying that Snow Qiao broke out in a cold sweat and thought to herself, killing intent. The next second, she hurriedly tried to explain, "Noodles? Wait a moment. I know how to make noodles. Every kind of noodle in the world. I know how to cook them all." Without a doubt, this was the smartest thing Snow Qiao had ever said in her life. And sure enough, after hearing that, Prince Duan immediately dropped to one knee before Snow Qiao with a bouquet of fresh flowers and confessed, "Really? Then I want to make you my wife, beautiful princess. Let us run toward the future together and build a mighty kingdom of noodles." Amen. In the end, just like every fairy tale, the story concluded with the princess meeting the prince who saved her, while the villain received her punishment. Because the curse backfired, the wicked queen failed to harm anyone and was turned into an ugly crow instead. I don't want this. I want to be the most beautiful woman. The seven dwarfs got the money and continued living happily in the deep forest. As for Snow Qiao, she willingly married the handsome Prince Duan. Every day in the palace, Snow Qiao happily made braised meat noodles. The prince ate the noodles, she ate the braised meat, and the two of them were perfectly matched in soul, loving each other for a lifetime without ever growing tired, living happily together. Prince Duan stood with a stern face before Gu Qingxiao, who was lying unconscious beneath a tree, while a subordinate knelt before him and reported loudly, "Your Highness, that monster from Mandala Tower was extremely formidable. During the fight, he clearly noticed that Miss Gu was here alone, yet somehow he was lured away by another person instead. This subordinate failed to protect you properly. I beg your Highness to punish me." Hearing this, Prince Duan reminded him, Mandala Tower's illusion arts are truly powerful. It is no wonder she was deceived. Escort Miss Gu back to the residence and have them take good care of her. The subordinate immediately obeyed. Yes, when only Prince Duan remained, he coldly ordered, "Come down." In an instant, a figure leaped down from a tall tree. Prince Duan immediately asked, "Did you see Miss Gu's reaction to the totem today? What did you hear?" The subordinate answered, "Reporting to your Highness, sixth benefactor arrived. He wanted to take Miss Gu's life, but for some reason, he could not bring himself to strike." Upon hearing this, Prince Duan pressed further. "Oh, did he say why Mandala Tower wants to hunt down Miss Gu?" The subordinate continued, "He only said that Miss Gu had taken the sex sacred relic." This subordinate heard it very clearly from up on the roof beam. The more he heard, the more puzzled Prince Duan became. "What do you think? It seems Miss Gu might have recognized the compiler." Cold sweat instantly broke out on the subordinate's face as he replied, "Reporting to your Highness, I believe Miss Gu almost certainly did not recognize the compiler and probably knows nothing of that legend either. This filled Prince Duan with even more questions. Oh, how can you be sure? The subordinate answered firmly. Because Miss Gu paid no attention to the wolf's eye color, nor did she examine how many teeth it had. After all, the wolf head in front of Qiao Feng had green eyes and 4 fangs, while the real wolf head beside the compiler king likely had red eyes and 6 fangs. After hearing all this, Prince Duan stared intently at the carriage disappearing into the distance, anxiety weighing on his heart. Little Qiao, don't lie to me. At Gu Qingxiao's home, a cheerful voice rang out from outside. The weather today is so bright and clear. Every place looks wonderful. Ever since Miss returned from praying at Shanqing Temple, she hasn't been herself these past few days. She isn't even eating her favorite braised meat. Even Ada has gotten angry. Dongxi fanned the stove diligently while muttering to herself. At once, the image of the old assistant minister rose in her mind along with his warning. How have you all been taking care of Miss like this? Pass down my order to the kitchen. They must prepare some delicacy that will make Miss eat like a horse again. Steaming, appetizing dishes were quickly brought out, yet Qingxiao's face remained pale and lifeless as she thought to herself, I never imagined there would come a day when Gu Qingxiao would lose her appetite like this. At that point, she burst into miserable tears and complained, Actually, it's just that it's that time of the month. I just want sweets. This left Dongxi deeply puzzled. That's simple. Then why doesn't Miss just ask the kitchen to make them? Qingxiao let out a weary sigh and said, I want to, but they can't make it. The ingredients don't exist here. The more she listened, the more confused Dongxi became. If Miss wants something, just tell Master. If they don't have it, Master can have someone fetch it from the palace. Can't he? After all, we're family. Qingxiao raised a hand and declared firmly, Forget the palace. I'm afraid the thing I want can't be found anywhere in this whole world. Dongxi stared blankly and hurriedly asked, What could possibly be that rare? At once, Qingxiao thought of chocolate, that treasure from the modern world, and described it with great enthusiasm. Its flavor is rich, a little bitter, a little sweet. It melts in your mouth, and the aftertaste lingers. You people wouldn't understand that feeling. Back in reality, Dongxi dusted off her hands while thinking confidently, what does she mean? You people wouldn't understand. Miss really underestimates others. I, Dongxi, am also a top grade, made among the 7 refined maids under the assistant minister's household. Even if I can't make this so-called chocolate, could I possibly be bad at serving a girl during her monthly cycle? The more she thought about it, the prouder she became. The next second, Dongxi happily carried some pastries toward Qingxiao, following her own line of reasoning. Isn't it just a little bleeding? And some stomach pain? Some red dates and brown sugar will fix it. Miss is good in every way, except she loves putting on airs. Just watch me, Dongxi, make my secret family recipe for red date brown sugar cakes. If that doesn't make her jump with joy, I'll admit defeat. Miss said it herself. To forge good steel, you must make a sharp blade. I don't know what steel even is, but that won't stop me from pleasing my mistress. In the future, I'll also become a top grade made in Prince Duan's household, with even more say in front of Prince Duan and Princess Consort Duan. While she was immersed in her thoughts, a voice suddenly called from behind, Dongxi. Dongxi quickly turned around. The moment she saw Prince Duan, she immediately spoke. Prince Duan, this servant greets your highness. My lady hasn't been feeling well these past few days, so this servant just made a few pastries for her and was about to bring them to the reception room. Upon hearing that, Prince Duan smiled and said, So little Qiao is in the reception room? No wonder I couldn't find her in her room. So she was hiding over there basking in the sun. Very well, leave me there at once. Dongxi was coerced by power. That part was wrong. Mesmerized by beauty. That part was true. So she willingly led Prince Duan to the reception room, a decision that would cause her lifelong regret. If heaven truly had ears, then at this very moment it surely would have heard Dongxi's silent farewell. The instant she saw the scene before her, Dongxi was so horrified that her face turned deathly pale, and she thought in panic, I shouldn't have brought him. I shouldn't have brought him here. At that moment, inside the room, several servants were performing to amuse Qingxiao. Ada, you're so strong. Old Granny, my love for you was not wasted. Run, run, wild run. Prince Duan's expression did not change as he looked straight ahead, his gaze fixed on Qingxiao, who was full of delight, smiling with excitement. More performances were quickly brought out. She kept clapping at the talents of the servants before her. The most beautiful thing is the red of the sunset, warm and gentle. The sunset is a flower that blooms late. The sunset is an old jug of wine. As Qin Xiao listened, she recalled her father and thought, Father Gu, even though I'm not your real daughter, you're the person who has treated me best in this time and place. If you hadn't protected and indulged me from the very beginning, how could I have lived such a peaceful life these past 5 years? As soon as the thought crossed her mind, Qin Xiao turned around. Dongxi was standing there in utter terror, cold sweat pouring down as she frantically signaled to her. In the next instant, Qin Xiao saw Prince Duan standing before her with a dark face. Dongxi, standing beside him, felt so helpless she was nearly crying inside. Why me? Why does it always have to be me? All I wanted was to please my mistress and become a glorious first-rank maid in the prince's household. Meanwhile, Prince Duan looked at her and asked coldly, not feeling well, seeing Dongxi trembling non-stop with a miserable, despairing expression, Qin Xiao found it strange. Why do you look like you just ate filth? Or are you on your period too? Prince Duan quickly strode forward, then put on an exceptionally impassive and stern face. The moment she saw him, Qin Xiao was so startled that her mouth fell open, and she thought in confusion, damn, author, I already said one male lead was enough. So why the hell am I, Gu Qin Xiao, still here? At the same time, Dongxi was equally panicked inside. O Lord of Thunder, Lightning Mother, please just strike me dead. Buddha, Guanyin Bodhisattva, why did you let Prince Duan see this scene? Though Miss is usually like this, in front of outsiders, she always puts on the image of a graceful, delicate young lady. This time I brought Prince Duan over without warning first. Didn't I accidentally expose Miss completely? Right at that moment, a flat shoe suddenly flew straight at Prince Duan's face. His expression immediately darkened, while Qin Xiao, the one who had thrown it, still looked fierce and shouted, What are you doing here? Get out! Get out! The moment they saw that, all the servants in the room turned pale in fright. What? After all these years, the one doing the beating is still more polite than the one getting beaten. Prince Duan coldly reminded her, This prince came to visit you. Is this how you welcome me? Qin Xiao frowned and instantly shot back. Who wants that fake concern? Didn't you want me dead? Weren't you the one who drew your bow to shoot me on the mountain? Did you come here to check whether I got an arrow through the head yet? Hearing those words, the servants gaped in astonishment and thought, oh, so there's hidden history here. Meanwhile, Prince Duan widened his eyes and hurriedly explained, You misunderstood. I didn't do it on purpose back then. Naturally, Qin Xiao had no interest in listening. Her eyes instantly brimmed with tears as she answered in aggrieved misery. Not on purpose? What do you mean, not on purpose? You said you would protect me, but when I was being assaulted by those men, where were you? When I was forced to watch people killing each other, where were you? I waited so hard for you to come save me, only to see you pick up a bow, an arrow, and try to shoot me. Even the servants could not help being moved by her words and sympathizing with her. Filled with grievance, Qin Xiao continued sadly, I waited for you for so long. Why didn't you come see me? Why didn't you come explain? You have no idea how frightened I've been these past few days. Why didn't you come sooner? Why didn't you come sooner? What's the point of coming now? What's the point? Prince Duan immediately stepped closer to her and consoled her while gently rubbing her head. It was my fault. Don't cry, all right? I shot an arrow at you because you were trapped inside an illusion. I couldn't see your true form, so I could only shoot by instinct. That was the only way to break that evil cult's illusion. Even though he said that, Qin Xiao still frowned unhappily and immediately retorted, You're lying. There were so many trees in the forest. How did you know I would definitely be hiding under that one? Prince Duan explained, I didn't know at the time. I was only trying my luck. I saw Cha-Ching under that tree and guess you couldn't have gone very far. All right now, stop making a fuss. That day, I found traces of the evil sect, so I immediately returned to the palace to discuss it with my imperial brother. I never expected to neglect you and make you imagine so many strange things. Sai, it was all my fault. Today I know I was wrong, so don't be angry with me anymore, all right? As he spoke, he gently touched Qin Xiao's hand. Qin Xiao was still a little annoyed as she puffed out her cheeks and replied, Right now, I don't even want to eat braised pork. If I want something, will you really give it to me? Prince Duan could not help asking, Then how do you want me to make amends? As long as it is something in my residence, I can give it to you. The moment she heard that, Qing Xiao blushed and said shyly, let's go back to your room first. There are too many people here. The moment her words ended, Prince Duan immediately scooped Qing Xiao into his arms. Seeing this, all the servants were inwardly thrilled. Truly a splendid romantic scene worthy of an idol drama. It really was a match made by heaven, a union destined by fate. Unlike them, however, Dongxi was a little confused and broke out in cold sweat as she thought, was that just my imagination? Why did Miss seem to have a sly smile at the corner of her mouth? How baffling. Today the weather is clear, yet madness is everywhere. Nestled in Prince Duan's arms, Qing Xiao was secretly ecstatic. I'm rich. I'm finally rich. If the imperial spirit really ended up with Prince Duan, then with what he just said, wouldn't getting it be as easy as turning over my hand? In this world, as long as you dare to act, you can turn the passive into the active and reverse adversity into advantage. Dongxi, don't say your young lady never taught you anything. This is exactly the principle behind striking first to gain the upper hand. If Dongxi knew what was really going on, she would definitely be full of admiration. Amazing. Outside the residence, Prince Duan stood beside the lotus pond and asked in confusion, so you're finally not angry with me anymore? Shall I take you for a stroll? At this moment, Qing Xiao, standing before him, was putting on shy act. The very next second, she said coquettishly, I want to go see the prince's manor. You said so yourself. You'd use something to make it up to me. Hearing that, Prince Duan finally formed a bit of an opinion of her. So she was ambitious too. Then, with a smile on his lips, he said gently, all right, I'll take you there. The moment she saw Prince Duan like this, Gu Qingxiao suddenly felt guilty. She could not help worrying inwardly. What am I even doing? To achieve my own goal, I'm using my looks again, deceiving someone else's feelings. But I'm innocent too. I was suddenly thrown into this desolate world, and my only wish is to go home. I just don't want to stay here. But he won't actually like me. He just finds me interesting, that's all. In his life, the word love probably never existed. The favor he gives me is likely only a passing whim. And in the future, if I'm no longer here, there will still be countless people who love him, like him, try to please him. He probably wouldn't care at all where I went, right? But no matter what, I'm still taking advantage of him in the end. As she pondered, Gu Qingxiao kept staring at Prince Duan without looking away. The next instant, she suddenly said, I'm sorry. That made Prince Duan frown. He immediately pulled her closer and asked, so you do know how to say sorry? Don't you dare lose your shoe again next time. The two of them each harbored their own private thoughts. As they spoke to each other while plotting for their own purposes, even the sun overhead seemed unable to resist passing judgment. Truly a match made in heaven. The human world was always this amusing. On the street, an extremely luxurious carriage was traveling along the roadside. Inside, Gu Qingxiao asked in confusion, hey, why didn't you make out of fox fur or tiger skin or something? As soon as she said that, she thought to herself, that's how it always is in transmigration novels. A beautiful man definitely has to match an outrageously fancy carriage. White tiger skin, snow tiger skin, stripped and spread all over the carriage. Sit on it, lie on it, whatever. In short, use the most expensive thing possible. Prince Duan answered at once, it's summer now. Hearing that, Gu Qingxiao said helplessly, you really are a practical consumer. The next second, she sank back in a boredom and idly looked around. Then she asked again, why does your carriage only have one bench? What about the tea table, the chessboard? Where's the zither? And all the other household furnishings? Prince Duan said calmly, too heavy. If I have to flee, it won't run fast enough. Hearing that, Gu Qingxiao felt utterly cheated inside and could only sigh to herself. Fine. Practical consumers are great. No matter what she thought, she still had to force a smile and say, right, then why isn't your carriage like your clothes, all in white? Prince Duan replied, because someday someone else may sit in the carriage. Other people are always a little dirty. The more Gu Qingxiao listened, the angrier she became, clenching her fists as she inwardly cursed, strangle him to death, you pervert. This prince changes his face faster than flipping a page. Where did all those sweet words go? They say serving a ruler is like serving a tiger, but as far as I can see, a prince is no better. After all, they're all born of the same mother. Since talking to Prince Duan was so boring, she could only turn her eyes to the scenery outside. At just that moment, Prince Duan, seated beside her, swiftly draped a cloak over her and reminded her, "Your body isn't in good condition. You can't stand the cold. Stop letting in so much wind." Outside, a subordinate announced, "Your Highness, we've arrived at the prince's manor." The moment she got out of the carriage, Gu Qingxiao asked blankly in bewilderment, This is the prince's manor." Prince Duan answered calmly. The scene before her was utterly unimaginable. A shabby, poor thatched hut with barely any furnishings at all, a broken house, a broken well, and a lazy dog. Pitifully tattered, yet devastatingly handsome. These two images simply had nothing to do with each other. The more Gu Qingxiao looked, the paler she became. Alarmed and dumbfounded, eyes wide and mouth agape, she asked, "This is really the prince's manor?" Prince Duan asked calmly, "What about it?" Standing beside him, Gu Qingxiao immediately replied in sympathy, "Your Highness, I never imagined you were this poor. No one in this prince's manor could possibly be poorer. Or did you spend all your money on keeping pretty boys at home?" If they heard such words coming out of her mouth, all they could do was cry injustice. While Gu Qingxiao was still musing to herself, it did make sense when she thought about it. He always acted rich, and the arrow he shot at me before was made of gold. If he wastes money like that, it's no wonder he spent the household dry. Spending to this extent really broadens one's horizons. The moment that thought ended, she said aloud, "Truly extraordinary." Prince Duan immediately nodded and replied, "Good that you think so. Take whatever you like from this manor. No need to be polite." Hearing that, Gu Qingxiao thought indignantly, "What could I even take? As if I'd take anything. If you live in a place like this, then what I need clearly isn't here either." Annoying bastard, making this young lady waste her effort. Seeing the expression on her face, Prince Duan teased, "Are you so astonished you can't even speak?" Gu Qingxiao said with a scowl, "What?" In an instant, however, she quickly regained her cheerfulness. She smacked Prince Duan a few times while reminding him, "There's still time. Even if you're a little poor now, as long as you correct your bad habits, sell off your boy toys, dismiss your nest of favorites, then go beg your imperial brother, you'll still have enough to live on for the rest of your life. Making mistakes isn't scary. The scariest thing is not knowing how to repent. If you don't mind, I can ask my father to bring my dowry for your highness to use first, as a bit of compensation for me." The moment Prince Duan heard those words, his expression changed at once. He immediately seized Gu Qingxiao's hand, pulled her toward him, and asked sternly, "What exactly do you want to compensate for?" At that moment, Prince Duan was looking at Gu Qingxiao with a murderous chill in his eyes. She was instantly bewildered and shocked. Why had his attitude changed so suddenly? Just then, a loud bang suddenly rang out. Gu Qingxiao was immediately distracted, and in the next instant she was startled by a voice from behind. "What are you people doing standing in front of my house?" The moment she heard that, Gu Qingxiao angrily demanded, "This isn't your house." Prince Duan calmly explained it isn't, but Gu Qingxiao still refused to believe it and retorted irritably, "You clearly said this was the prince's manor. Liar. Scoundrel." Prince Duan did not care much about that. Releasing a trace of killing intent, he asked, "What is your name?" Wang Fugue was instantly frightened by that aura and hurriedly answered, Wang Fugue." The moment the man said his name, Prince Duan sneered and said, "When did I ever lie to you? Think about it yourself. If the owner of this house bears the surname Wang, then this really is the Wang Manor, isn't it?" Gu Qingxiao, standing before him, was struck speechless like a statue. The next second, her face darkened, and with a kindly smile she thought to herself, "I really want to kill someone. Too bad, I don't have a knife, and if I want to poison him, I don't have any poison." As a modern girl who transmigrated here, I absolutely cannot admit that I've been fooled like this. Prince Duan moved closer curiously and asked, "What do you think, little Xiao? What exactly did I lie to you about?" Gu Qingxiao replied at once, "Enough. Your Highness didn't lie to me at all. Little Xiao simply overthought things." Seeing her like this, Prince Duan happily nodded in agreement. But though she said so, Gu Qingxiao was actually walking back toward the carriage looking utterly dejected. Prince Duan, however, still calmly asked, "What does little Xiao think of the prince's manor?" Gu Qingxiao, with nothing left to care about, answered dispiritedly, "Very big, very beautiful." Elsewhere, white flowers bloomed in profusion across a whole corner of the sky. At the Sacred Heart Pavilion, the holy maiden of the moon worship cult, Pang Wan, was intently studying her face in a mirror. The next instant, she sighed helplessly and muttered to herself, Luan Luan, you already have this face before even reaching full maturity. Who knows how many heroes and great men will fight over you in the future? As she spoke, Pang Luan gently touched her lovely face. How did I become so devastatingly beautiful? A beauty that topples kingdoms, a calamity in mortal form. Seeing Pang Luan's narcissistic behavior, the attendants behind her turned pale with fright and whispered among themselves, Heavens, who put that mirror in the Holy Maiden's room? Her illness has relapsed again. What? The Holy Maiden is still looking in the mirror? She's been staring at it for a whole shurchin. Doesn't she need to practice or eat? One of them quickly explained, Listen, the Holy Maiden is very good, but she has one rather special trait. At that moment, a hand suddenly slammed down on the mirror and flipped it face down on the table. Pang Luan looked back, somewhat displeased, and asked, Who? The newcomer appeared with a terrifyingly dark expression and said, The Holy Maiden is having another episode. Didn't Ronger already tell you? You look exactly like a white radish. There are plenty of those everywhere under heaven. If you're chopped up or killed, no one would care. Why do you keep deceiving yourself like this? Hearing those words, Pang Luan immediately explained, I was clearly born beautiful as a flower. Why didn't you tell me? Instead, you deliberately brought in those warped mirrors and made me turn ugly. Ronger swiftly lifted Pang Luan's chin and replied, Holy Maiden, raise your head and look at me. Your looks really are only average. Telling a beautiful girl that she is merely ordinary is an even harsher blow than calling her ugly. After all, ugly people know they are ugly, but beautiful people are always too proud to accept defeat. After hearing those words, Pang Luan truly seemed to have fallen into the deepest abyss. Meanwhile, Ronger could only sigh helplessly and remind her, the Holy Maiden is still young. It's only that the target and timing are not yet right. As the dignified Holy Maiden of the Moon worship cult, you must not casually expose your weakness. In the future, if anyone dares look down on you. At this point, Ronger's face turned cold as she demonstrated, Poison them, ruin them, make their line die out. As she spoke, Ronger pinched Pang Luan's cheek hard, causing Pang Luan's face to turn pale at once, sweat pouring down as she cried out, It hurts, it hurts, it hurts. Immediately, Pang Luan forced a smile, waved her hands, and said, Auntie Rong is right in her guidance. Luan Luan knows she was wrong. Ronger quickly added, Holy Maiden, you are a once-in-a-century genius. You must shoulder the revival of the demonic cult. The cult leader has coughed up blood raising you. You must not drown yourself in such shallow matters. Hearing those words, Pang Luan could only smile stiffly and grumble inwardly. I only praised myself a little. Auntie Rong really doesn't need to make such a big deal of it. Besides, all the cult leader ever taught me was reading a few books and assigning people to watch me. What did he ever cough up blood? Even though she thought so, Pang Luan still obediently said, Luan Luan will remember it well. As soon as she finished speaking, she thought tearfully, the great undertaking is not yet complete. Pang Luan must restrain herself. After the grand cause is accomplished, it won't be too late. It won't be too late. Outside the residence, the attendants were whispering among themselves with great focus. You may not know this, but the Holy Maiden has one peculiar trait. She believes every man in the martial world likes her, and that the whole world revolves around her alone. As for why this Holy Maiden is so strange, dear readers, please continue reading. The carriage rattled along the street. Inside, the atmosphere between Prince Duan and Gu Qingxiao was strangely quiet. At that moment, Prince Duan suddenly noticed something, namely Gu Qingxiao. She was lying on the seat, in complete silence. Seeing her motionless like that, Prince Duan immediately asked with concern, What's wrong? But seeing that Gu Qingxiao still did not move, he could not help cajoling her. Why so petty? You've eaten well and dressed well since childhood. Could my manner really be lacking any treasure? No matter what he said, Gu Qingxiao remained motionless. That forced Prince Duan to move closer and explain directly, I was only joking with you a little. You used to tease me too. Though he said that, in the next moment he surrendered. Fine, I'll take you to the real manor to look around. Whatever you want, I'll get it to you. Be good and look outside. It's the road back to the minister's manor. We're almost there. The moment she heard this, Gu Qingxiao brightened up again, sitting bolt upright as she asked, Really? Prince Duan answered gently, Really? Gu Qingxiao's face immediately lit up. At Prince Duan's manor, in the courtyard filled with fragrant flowers and beautiful scenery, Gu Qingxiao looked around while musing inwardly. I knew Prince Duan was rich. I also knew he was extravagant, but I never imagined he was this rich. And he spends money like water. On the way here, there were pearl lanterns and then gates covered in gold leaf. I'm almost going blind. Imperial power in feudal times is truly too luxurious. The more she thought about it, the more noble her gaze became when she looked at Prince Duan. Seeing her deep in thought, Prince Duan, sitting opposite her, asked curiously, "What are you thinking about?" Gu Qingxiao answered, "I'm thinking about a very serious question." Hearing that, Prince Duan asked in puzzlement, "What is it?" As she moved closer to him, Gu Qingxiao whispered, "Do you have any money that came from shady dealings?" The moment he heard her question, Prince Duan's face darkened. Crushing the cup in his hand, he said, "What did you say?" Little Xiao doesn't like Prince Duan's manner? In the future, I'll deal with every corrupt official. Gu Qingxiao hurriedly replied, "How terrifying. This place ought to be for a Buddha to live in." Seeing her like that, Prince Duan gently asked, "I wonder if little Xiao has any particular kind of place she especially likes?" Gu Qingxiao replied, "The kind of place I want probably only exists in dreams." Even though she said that, Prince Duan still seemed rather confidently optimistic. "Just say it. Remember, this prince can do it." As soon as he finished speaking, Gu Qingxiao excitedly began describing it. "Then I'll say it. Don't laugh. I want a house like this. The roof made of almond candy, the chimney made of roast pork, the bed made of red date honey cake, the chairs made of sweet rice dumplings with bean filling, the windows hung with spicy chicken legs, the pillow made of shrimp dumplings, the clouds in the sky made of cotton candy, the stones on the ground made of grilled meat. Outside, there should be steamed buns everywhere. The whole river should be meat porridge. Right? Every animal swimming in the water or flying in the sky should be edible too. Whatever I want, they should line up on their own in front of me, waiting for me to eat them." As she spoke, she was already imagining her own food house. She was so engrossed in her greedy fantasy that she had no idea Prince Duan behind her was utterly stunned, mouth hanging open and face pale with shock. After a while, the two of them continued strolling through the manor, and the dazzling sunlight made the poetic scenery even more picturesque. At that moment, Gu Qingxiao suddenly jumped up high and exclaimed, "This manor is really rich. Is it impossible for you not to spend money?" Prince Duan sternly reminded her at once, "That's dangerous. Get down." Under his seriousness, Gu Qingxiao only grew more flippant. Sitting on the bridge railing, she thought to herself, "Men are truly sinister. Men and petty villains are the hardest to deal with." At the stables, Little Green suddenly shuddered and thought in alarm, "That smell, it's that stupid girl. She's here." The thought had only just ended when helplessness immediately showed on its face. With tears in its eyes, Little Green looked around and inwardly complained, "That hateful girl. Nothing good ever happens around her. If she's not asking me stupid and bizarre questions, then she's giving me some idiotic name with no imposing aura at all." Thinking of this, it recalled the past. Then Little Green suddenly remembered something else. Right? Last time she almost got me surrounded and beaten. If my master hadn't arrived in time, wise and mighty as he is, I might already be in the underworld turning the mill for little ghosts. I absolutely have to settle this debt with her. Just then, Qingxiao suddenly appeared. Excitedly raising both hands, she called out, "Ah, Little Green." The moment it saw who had come, its heart shattered. Qingxiao paid no attention to its disgusted expression and pounced forward, wrapping her arms around Little Green's neck. "Long time no see. Did you miss me?" Unable to speak human language, Little Green could only sneer inwardly. "I didn't miss your mother, and I'm not close to you either." Qingxiao still hugged it tightly and narcissistically cried out, "You definitely missed me. Look, you're so excited your whole body is trembling." Furious, Little Green turned its head away. "Please, you're squeezing my carotid artery so hard. How could I not tremble?" Suddenly, someone approached from behind. Qingxiao turned and said proudly, "See that, Your Highness? It was answering me just now. It definitely missed me terribly." At those words, Little Green frowned even more. "Miss you, my hoof. Woman, are you bullying me just because I can't talk?" Then it fixed its gaze on Prince Duan with aggrieved, furious little eyes. "Master, tell me this. Someone as flawless, transcendent, celestial, and heaven-sent as you. Why must you insist on finding someone this stupid? At that moment, Prince Duan walked over and gently asked, Little Xiao likes little green that much? Qin Xiao immediately nodded. Yes, very much, extremely much. The two of us really hit it off at first sight. The corners of Prince Duan's mouth twitched. Hit it off at first sight? How does a person and a horse hit it off at first sight? Qin Xiao answered frankly. What's there to ask? Didn't your highness hit it off at first sight with Ada's braised pork too? Have you forgotten why you insisted on marrying me in the first place? Hearing that, Prince Duan flushed red and coughed repeatedly. Then Qin Xiao changed the subject. Right, there's something I've always wanted to ask. Back then at the minister's manor, how did you recognize me? I was dressed very ordinarily, and even the name I gave you was fake. How did you know I was lying? Hearing this, Prince Duan asked meaningfully, Little Xiao really wants to know? Qin Xiao immediately raised her hand and swore, If I'm lying to you, may I never get to eat braised pork again. Seeing that, he started putting on airs again. It's not impossible to tell you. However, in exchange, you must answer one question for me. Qin Xiao agreed at once. Go ahead and ask. Prince Duan leaned in close, his face almost touching hers. Very simple, because at the time, you were wearing that green jade pin on your chest. It was something the Grand Emperor often gave your grandfather, Grand General Su Fei. She let out a calm, oh, realizing at once. So that was it. Turns out my grandfather sold me out. Prince Duan smiled faintly and continued. Now it's time for Little Xiao to answer my question. I heard that when a young lady of Minister Gu's household was 18, she suffered a serious illness. When she woke up, she had forgotten everything from before. Then he leaned in toward Qin Xiao again. Tell me, is that really true? Qin Xiao blushed as memories from her previous life surfaced. There were always many unbelievable encounters in life. She had lived 22 years, but had never imagined that one day she would transmigrate. Although she liked reading transmigration stories, those things had only ever been entertainment to pass the time when she was bored. She had never once imagined becoming a transmigrated woman herself, because she knew she was just one of countless ordinary women. She did not want to leave behind her parents' love. Thinking of this made her gloomy. Yet one mistake had turned into eternal regret. When she looked back again, she was already someone who had transmigrated. How had heaven chosen her? How had all of this been arranged? In the 5 years since she had come here, she had often thought about that question. She was not some heartbroken beauty from the modern world, wounded by failed love, who had transmigrated into a kingdom of female supremacy to enjoy being surrounded by beautiful men and become the center of attention, thereby finding emotional balance. The moment that thought arose, she rejected it. Nor was she some divinely favored beauty harboring grand and noble ambitions, who had transmigrated into troubled times to strategize and accomplish the impossible, only to become a legend of her age. Thinking that far only made Qin Xiao feel even more dejected. How could an ordinary person like her, someone with no greed, no ambition, and no desire to harm anyone, suddenly transmigrate? Then she smiled and answered, That's right. Everything from before I was 10 years old, whether good or bad, Little Xiao has forgotten it all. After hearing that, Prince Duan was full of suspicion. His gaze remained fixed on her face. Had she truly forgotten, or was there some other hidden truth? Qin Xiao forced a smile and said, Your Highness isn't suspecting that I'm an imposter, are you? Suddenly, Prince Duan grew serious. He asked, If Little Xiao really is a fake, then can you tell me where you came from? Qin Xiao calmly exclaimed, Oh heavens, you really are suspicious of me? Then she lifted a hand in an innocent gesture. Fine, since you're asking so sincerely, I'll be magnanimous and tell you. To be honest, I come from Mars. Is your Highness satisfied with that answer? Prince Duan kept coaxing her. Little Xiao, don't joke with me. Since childhood, this prince has studied the stars of the heavens. I've never once heard of a place called Mars. You're so clever. It's better if you simply tell the truth. Qin Xiao immediately put on a pitiful look. So you've been doubting me all along. Then she let go of the reins in her hand. You suspect I'm an imposter? She slowly approached Prince Duan, eyes glittering like starlight, and pointed to her lips. Cool me. This young lady permits you to touch. Startled, Prince Duan kept backing away. What are you doing? Qin Xiao grabbed his hand and pressed it to her cheek. Feel my face. See whether it's a human skin mask. I know you people all like that sort of thing. Prince Duan blushed from her actions, inwardly marveling. So soft. Then he quickly snatched his hand back and turned his face away. Qin Xiao kept staring at him, still babbling. Look, it's real, really real. Look at me. Prince Duan stammered, unable to speak clearly. Why you? Seeing that reaction, Qin Xiao secretly made up her mind. Looks like I can only use my ultimate move. After that, she rolled up her sleeve and pointed her arm. I have a birthmark. Look here, there are 5 tiny red dots. Master Kong Kong of Shangqing Temple said this was a plum blossom mark that only appears once in 100 years. In all the world, there is no second person who could be born with the same mark. At that, Prince Duan cast her a doubtful glance. Qin Xiao helplessly scratched her head again and again, lamenting inwardly. Damn it, why doesn't he still believe me? Looks like if I can't bear to sacrifice the child today, I won't catch the wolf. Then she shouted loudly, Someone, bring this young lady a basin of dog's blood and a big bucket of manure too. The stinkier the better. Prince Duan's face darkened at once. Reaching out, he tried to stop her. What are you trying to do? Qin Xiao snorted coldly and turned away, but then she swung back around, her tone full of mockery. What? Wasn't your highness just suspecting that I'm a spirit in disguise? I was preparing to splash some hot blood around and scatter some manure in the courtyard, cleanse the whole area, and prove my true identity. Prince Duan refused immediately. No need. I've troubled Miss Gu to worry for nothing. Then he said seriously, if little Qiao can freely enter and leave Shangqing Temple and can even receive guidance from Master Kong Kong, this prince has never thought you were some other kind of creature. The moment he finished speaking, Qin Xiao pulled out a flawless justification. Then what is your highness still suspicious of? Little Qiao is simple-minded, upright in conduct, devoted to her homeland, supportive of the emperor, and one of the finest law-abiding citizens of our dynasty. Exactly what is wrong with me? Prince Duan was speechless. Just then, a servant suddenly came to report. Your Highness, Mr. Shi has arrived. Prince Duan asked in confusion. How does he have time to spare today? Then he glanced toward the people behind him. I'm afraid one of you must have leaked the news. Prince Duan led Qin Xiao to the pavilion beside the lotus pond and pointed toward the man before them in introduction. This is Mr. Shi. Then he gestured toward Qin Xiao. This is Miss Gu. Qin Xiao immediately bowed in greeting. Greetings, Mr. Shi. Mr. Shi merely nodded in return and said nothing. Qin Xiao kept smiling, but inwardly she sneered. Oh, so aloof. No matter what, I'm still the future princess consort of Prince Duan. Yet this fellow doesn't even say a word. After that, the two men began talking. Qin Xiao kept looking around, secretly marveling to herself. Anyone who could discuss the affairs of the realm with Prince Duan like this must have someone powerful backing him, and that backing certainly wasn't small. After a while, the two of them were still deeply engrossed in conversation. Prince Duan spoke first. In recent days, the registered border migrants have been moving as restlessly as floating duckweed. The court must prepare early. Mr. Shi immediately probed further. Does your highness know that in recent days, someone has presented a dragon tiger elixir to his majesty? Prince Duan did not hide it. Eunuch Chu recently obtained a new estate. It seems to be part of Consort Ru's family business. Then Mr. Shi shifted the subject again. Lately, wind and rain have not ceased in the Jiangnan region. I fear there may be flooding. Hearing that, Qin Xiao muttered to herself, as expected of a nobleman. If he's not noble, then who is? Suddenly she thought of something. Wait, nobleman, fate pattern, arrival of the spirit. At that thought, her eyes lit up as she looked at Mr. Shi. Could be you? Seeing this, Mr. Shi became a little flustered and kept calling. Miss Gu? Miss Gu. Only then did Qin Xiao come back to herself. She put on a friendly social smile and repeatedly nodded. Oh yes, I'm here. Mr. Shi gently asked, May I ask what Miss Gu usually likes? Since this is our first meeting, no matter what, I should present a gift. Qin Xiao stared at him in shock, mouth hanging open, inwardly complaining, Hey, big brother, who exactly are you? Prince Duan's father or Prince Duan's mother? Whoever give the first meeting gift, it still shouldn't be your turn, should it? Thinking that, she answered whatever was asked, while tapping her forehead again and again to ease the awkwardness. Then she frankly replied, "Well, I like eating meat." Prince Duan was so startled that he coughed violently. Mr. Shur then followed up, "May I ask what kinds of meat Miss Gu likes? It just so happens that I have a group of hunters under my command. All sorts of delicacies from mountains and seas can be found." She inwardly sneered, "Nonsense. If I wanted dragon meat, could you bring it out?" But her lips still curved in a smile as she answered, "Pork is fine. Pork is the best." Mr. Shur immediately tried to steer her thoughts elsewhere. A young lady as lovely as Miss Gu. Why be so stubborn about lowly food like pork, raised on all manner of filthy feed? I've heard that in Lake Dongsu, the southern frontier, there's a rare fish. This fish absorbs the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, and its body bears peony patterns. It grows only an inch every 10 years. Would Miss Gu be interested? But Qing Xiao's mind had already wandered elsewhere. She first pictured the fish with some bizarre body shape. Wow, it only grows an inch every 10 years. So different from other creatures. There's no doubt about it. This fish must definitely be the Down syndrome patient of the aquatic world. Trisomy 21 and all. Then she began criticizing the fish's name again. Who came up with a name like Weakfish? Brilliant name, marvelous name, clever name, truly far-sighted. The more she thought, the more excited she became, and she calmly raised her thumb in praise. "You needn't trouble yourself over me, sir. No matter what, little Xiao is the guanine of the pork world, so of course I must support my own family's business. Let me tell you, Mr. Shur, pork is wonderful. Women who are anemic after childbirth can use it as nourishment. There is no food in this world more lovable than pork." Seeing her like this, Mr. Shur smiled and praised her. "Miss Gu is truly adorable." Qing Xiao accepted it calmly. No need to be polite. Everyone always says so. Then Mr. Shur turned to Prince Duan beside him. "Your Highness, perhaps she could." Without even thinking, he immediately refused. "No, anyone else would do, but she absolutely cannot." Mr. Shur froze for a moment, but he quickly returned to normal and began to needle him. People in the streets are always talking about how Prince Duan and Miss Gu are deeply in love, like birds joined on the same branch. Today, I sure have truly witnessed it for myself. For Miss Gu's sake, your Highness can even refuse a request from a know-it-all like me. Qing Xiao stared at him in astonishment. Know-it-all, know-it-all. At that moment, in some corner of Prince Duan's manor, Qing Xiao craned her head left and right while softly calling a name. Xiaofeng, Xiaofeng, come out quickly. She searched through every large and small alley. One moment she was groping around by the lotus pond. The next she was shaking a tabby cat and calling, "Xiaofeng, Xiaofeng, come out quickly. Xiaofeng, Xiaofeng, come out quickly." After a long while, there was still no reply, and Qing Xiao exploded with fury. She shouted angrily, "I know you've been following me, so get out here now. If you still won't come out, I'll have Prince Duan change all your guard uniforms into bright red." As soon as she said that, the image of blinding red seemed to appear. Terrified, Xiaofeng quickly emerged, dropped to one knee, and accepted the order. "What does Miss Gu want with me?" Qing Xiao immediately interrogated him. "This young lady wants to ask you a few questions. Answer me obediently. Who exactly is that Mr. Shur?" Xiaofeng stammered, "I don't know." Hearing that, Qing Xiao's expression darkened, and then she broke into a sinister smile. "If you don't talk, I'll still make you wear bright red clothes." Faced with that threat, Xiaofeng could only bow his head before evil. Trembling, he said, "Mr. Shur is a famous figure in the martial world. His courtesy title is Know-All. He knows the strange affairs of the entire world and is one of His Highness's trusted confidants." Qing Xiao moved closer and pressed on. "Then what is his real name? Why won't His Highness tell me his true name? Can he really know everything under heaven?" Xiaofeng broke out in cold sweat, but still had to answer. "Mr. Shur's great name is a secret. This lowly one has only heard that if one can get Mr. Shur to personally step forward, then in this world there is no matter that cannot be investigated." Qing Xiao instantly understood. So there was a search engine here too. This really meant heaven had not cut off every road for her. "I've got it." Then she asked again, "What does it take to get Mr. Shur to step in?" Xiaofeng scratched his head and replied, "Mr. Shur has an eccentric temperament. It has always only ever been the case that he acts on a whim and voluntarily offers help to others. He has never accepted a request from anyone." Qing Xiao was struck as if by lightning. She recalled the conversation from earlier. No wonder Mr. Shur had asked what kind of first meeting gift she wanted, and no wonder Prince Duan had reacted so strangely. The more she thought about it, the more regret she felt. So I, Gu Qingxiao, really threw away a once-in-a-thousand-years opportunity. Boo-hoo. Prince Duan, please don't be angry with me. I know I was wrong. My mouth really does bring disaster on me. After that, Qing Xiao continued asking, do you think there's any chance Mr. Shi would help the same person a second time? Hearing that, Xiao Feng looked equally lost. Suddenly, a familiar voice rang out. Good little Xiao, darling little Xiao, why don't you ask yourself that question? Qing Xiao turned around in astonishment, utterly baffled as to who would call her in that way. Good little Xiao, darling little Xiao. The image of Mr. Shi, immortal-like and dignified, rose in her mind. She grew even more confused. Which Xiao is this uncle talking about? The Xiao and Gu Qing Xiao, or the Xiao and Xiao Feng? Then, reacting at last, the two of them sprang to their feet. Qing Xiao pointed at herself blankly and asked in return, me? Mr. Shi waved his fan and pointed at Xiao Feng. You may withdraw. Stop following. I'll speak to the prince. Xiao Feng immediately obeyed. Yes. Then Mr. Shi walked closer to Qing Xiao. Withdraw. I have something to say to Mississippi. Hearing that, she looked around blankly and thought, is this uncle talking to a ghost? From behind the bushes, the sounds of movement came one after another. Understood. After everyone had left, Mr. Shi turned to Qing Xiao and said, pick your jaw up off the floor. Qing Xiao quickly regained her composure. Mr. Shi waved his fan again and said, good little Xiao, darling little Xiao, don't tell me you've forgotten even me. It struck her like a bolt from the blue to hear that name again. Tearfully, Qing Xiao explained that when little Xiao was 10, she had fallen gravely ill, and after waking up, she remembered nothing. Hearing that, Mr. Shi sighed. So it really was true. I thought your father was just lying to outsiders. Old images resurfaced in his mind. 10 years without seeing you. My good little Xiao has grown up. You become so beautiful. The general's painstaking care for you was not wasted after all. And just like that, Qing Xiao finally learned that this Mr. Shi had once been a disciple of her maternal grandfather. Back when she still had a mouth full of baby teeth, he had taken care of her too, so he could be counted as half an elder. But when she was 5, for some unknown reason, Mr. Shi left officialdom to roam the martial world on his own, and in the end opened up a whole new sphere for Noel. At that moment, Mr. Shi patted her shoulder comfortingly. After all these years, you must have gone through a great deal. Now my well-behaved little Xiao has turned this clever and mischievous, and by sheer luck, even became Prince Duan's future princess consort. You must be very happy, right? Qing Xiao thought to herself, huh? So you even know I somehow got engaged to Duan Yu? It seemed the power of this know-all truly could not be underestimated, and she threw her arms around him. If Mr. Shi agrees to one thing for me, little Xiao will be even happier. Mr. Shi gently flicked her forehead. You little girl are full of schemes. What is it you want me to help you investigate? Just then, Duan Yu's voice rang out. If she really says it, she'll have to sell herself to you for life. Mr. Shi gently rubbed Qing Xiao's head and asked, Your Highness did arrive quickly indeed. Ah Xiao and I are old friends who haven't met in 10 years. We only wanted to speak quietly for a while. Why did you have to follow us all the way here? Duan Yu smiled and said, Mr. Shi, I know you want to drag little Xiao off to do that thing. Don't forget, I will not agree to it. Then he looked coldly at Qing Xiao. Why aren't you coming here yet? She looked back and forth in confusion. What are you two talking about? Mr. Shi, what exactly do you want me to do? Duan Yu directly grabbed her hand and pulled her toward him, scolding all the while, Who told you not to stay out of trouble? Qing Xiao struggled desperately. Ow, ow. Brother, calm down. Calm down. Mr. Shi explained helplessly. Good Ah Xiao, don't be afraid. I only want you to help me take care of child. It's nothing impossibly difficult. As payment, I'll look into anything you want to know. Are you satisfied with those terms? The moment she heard anything, she immediately ran back to Mr. Shi. Satisfied, satisfied. I'm extremely satisfied. Duan Yu grew angry when he heard that. Qing Xiao hurried over to coax him. Don't be so tense. I'm only helping Mr. Shi look after a child. Since he took care of me back then, both sentiment and reason say I should help him with this. He quickly asked in return, Are you sure you won't regret it? She innocently asked, Why would I regret it? Duan Yu said helplessly, Since you insist like this prince can hardly say anything more. I just can't bear to part with you. Hearing that, she was utterly baffled. Why was he suddenly saying something so affectionate? Then she watched Duan Yu's retreating back. He had already left just like that. Forget it. Going home was more important. After that, Qin Xiao turned to Mr. Shi and said, may I ask who it is you want me to look after for you? And exactly how old they are? Mr. Shi replied, it's my nephew, Xiao Yi. He just turned 14 this year, 1 year younger than you. She froze when she heard that. About my age? He's already 14. Why does someone that grown still need me to take care of him? Mr. Shi quickly soothed her and explained, don't be impatient. Xiao Yi has 3,000 servants around him, so naturally he doesn't need anyone to care for him. But for some reason, lately the boy has started refusing food. He has absolutely no interest in any delicacies at all, and as a result his body is getting thinner and weaker by the day. Qin Xiao immediately explained, Mr. Shi, that sounds like anorexia. You need to take him to a physician. Even the imperial physicians have already examined him. Their only guess was that it's an illness of the heart. Beyond that, they found no clues at all. I'm trying to cure him, but for now I only want the boy to eat and stop tormenting himself. As he said this, he looked at her expectantly. Qin Xiao turned her face away and said, what does that have to do with me? Mr. Shi leaned closer and poked her forehead lightly. Of course it has something to do with you. Right now, Ah Xiao has an almost fanatical love of food that ordinary people simply can't compare with. I think that with your persistence, you'll definitely be able to move that strange nephew of mine. As long as one day he can eat his meals in peace, your mission will be a complete success. Qin Xiao jerked backward in shock and summed it up in another sentence. So my mission is to fatten up that nephew of yours a little. Mr. Shi laughed and nodded. Exactly. As expected of the Ah Xiao I helped raise. So clever. Qin Xiao immediately put on a serious face and continued. Words alone are no proof. What are you going to use to judge whether his level of fatness or thinness meets your standards? Mr. Shi gestured at once. You needn't worry about that. We'll use the average for boys his age as a reference. And the specific measuring plan is as follows. First, we weigh him. Someone will specially record the changes in his weight every day. Second, his figure. The tailor from the finest clothing shop will come once a month to report the changes in his measurements. In short, everything will be decided by numbers. At this point, Mr. Shi put on an earnest expression and asked in return, Good Ah Xiao, do you think that's fair? Qin Xiao began to think it over. The more she thought about it, the stranger it seemed. Other transmigrated heroines either stirred up storms in the martial world or wielded power in the imperial court. But Gu Qinxiao, she was probably the first transmigrator to end up working as a nanny for a teenage boy. Being a nanny was one thing, but her sole task was just to make this boy eat more and gain some weight. Wasn't this basically force-feeding a pig? Author, where did you throw away the dignity of an elite young woman of the 21st century? At that moment, a familiar voice rang out. You really do envy talent. I worked hard as the author, and you, Ying Zhao, still dote on the heroine, yet keep messing around like this? The inner monologue isn't bad, but this is a necessary part of the plot. Just keep following the plot. Persevere a little longer, and it'll be fine. So although her heart was screaming, in reality, she nodded repeatedly in agreement. Fine, fine. And Mr. Shi worked with great efficiency. The very next day, he had someone deliver an invitation to the minister's manor, saying that since they had not seen each other for many years, he wished to invite Miss Gu to his residence in 3 days to reminisce about old times. After hearing that, Qin Xiao's face darkened. Was there anyone who invited a noble young lady this bluntly? And with one move, he was inviting her away for a full 2 months. Father Gu, however, smiled until his eyes nearly disappeared. I never expected my daughter could win Mr. Shi's favor. Qin Xiao immediately stepped forward to question him. Wait a second, you agreed just like that? And you even look pleased? Aren't you worried at all? Father Gu lightly tapped her forehead. What is there for me to worry about? Since it's Mr. Shi inviting you out, then he must surely have urgent business. I'm completely at ease with him. Hearing that, Qin Xiao sighed inwardly. This Mr. Shi really did have an extraordinary background. His backing was no ordinary kind of powerful. Meanwhile, on the other side, Mr. Shi was cheering delightedly. I guessed right. My background really is huge, and my backing really is ironclad. On the way to Qin Xiao's room, Dongxi followed behind her, pleading nonstop. Miss, I know I was wrong. Please take Dongxi with you. Qin Xiao arrogantly asked in return. You were wrong? What exactly were you wrong about? Dongxi eagerly admitted her fault. Dongxi shouldn't have been bewitched by His Highness's beauty and brought Prince Duan to the Flower Hall without announcing him first, letting His Highness see something he shouldn't have seen. Qin Xiao gave a cold snort and kept walking. Dongshi immediately burst into tears and grabbed hold of her again. Miss, Dongshi was just foolish for a moment. I won't dare do it again in the future. Please rest assured, Dongshi is absolutely loyal to Mississippi. My devotion is stronger than gold. I only beg, miss, for the sake of my many years of serving you, don't drive this servant away. Hearing that, Qing Xiao immediately cut her off. Hey, stop. What nonsense are you talking about? First, I'm not driving you away. Second, I'm not punishing you. Aren't you still living perfectly well at the minister's manor? Only then did Dongshi realize she had misspoken. With tears brimming in her eyes, she pleaded, well, Dongshi got too emotional and said the wrong thing. In any case, I beg miss not to grow distant with Dongshi. In Dongshi's heart, there is only Mississippi. No matter how handsome anyone else may be, they can never enter Dongshi's eyes again. Qing Xiao did not bother holding against her and gently stepped forward to pat her head. There's no need to be so extreme. That Duan Yu is actually quite good. Since you've only just fallen in love, a bit of blind idol worship is understandable. Then Qing Xiao began reminiscing. Back then, hadn't this young lady herself also fallen head over heels at first sight? That handsome boy standing beneath the light, filtering through the white curtains, reading a book. Suddenly, Dongshi changed the subject. Right, miss, this time you'll be staying at the Sure residence for 2 months. Doesn't Prince Duan have any objections? Qing Xiao denied it. Objections? None. He just sent someone to deliver me a letter. All right, I haven't opened it yet. Hurry and help me see what's written inside. Hearing that, Dongshi opened the letter while secretly smiling. Miss, His Highness says that when he thinks of the possibility of not seeing you for a long time, he feels very sad. According to popular custom, he hopes to receive a keepsake handmade by you personally. Qing Xiao looked completely blank. There's actually such a custom? Dongshi replied, that's right. Men and women who are engaged all do this. Miss should also give His Highness a memento, she said awkwardly. Then what would be good to give? Something he can carry on him. Could it be he wants underpants? I really don't know what size he wears. XL, LM. Dongshi blushed and said, and Miss doesn't need to think so boldly. Giving him a sachet will do. Hearing that, she suddenly remembered. There are sachets. How did I forget about that? The day before she set out, Qing Xiao handed a bundle to Dongshi and instructed, take this and give it to Prince Duan. Dongshi opened it to look. Inside was top-quality satin, but the workmanship was poor, and it even had a strange smell. Dongshi stared blankly. This is what? Qing Xiao proudly explained, obviously a personal keepsake for Prince Duan. At that, Dongshi's face darkened. Once again, she was utterly defeated by her mistress's shocking actions. She imagined the scene of Duan Yu receiving the gift and saying, I like it very much. Dongshi hurriedly stopped her. That's not right, Mississippi. A sachet should contain incense. And besides, this size is a little too big. It would be exhausting just to hang it up directly. Hearing that, Qing Xiao pulled Dongshi closer and explained, ahem, don't rush. Of course I know this isn't a sachet, but Prince Duan only gave me 3 days. How would I have time to make him a sachet? The more Dongshi listened, the more confused she became. Then, what exactly is this? Qing Xiao said excitedly. This is Gu Qing Xiao's secret, exclusive, hereditary treasure, the miraculous primordial Qi SOS pouch. Dongshi was speechless. It was one thing not to look at it, but the more she looked, the scarier it truly seemed. The next day, Mr. Sure came to pick up Gu Qing Xiao as arranged. In the carriage, he said in a falsely considerate tone, Xiao, truthfully, I never wanted to drag you into these troubled waters. Qing Xiao looked over in confusion. What do you mean? Mr. Sure, explain more clearly. Everyone knows that the minister loves his daughter like his life. You have been cherished since childhood. If I ask you to take care of that child, Xiao, I fear you may have to suffer some grievances. Qing Xiao waved her hand. I only care about whether he eats or not. I'm not training his morals and character. Why be so polite? Isn't it just feeding a pig? I still have some skill when it comes to fattening things up. At that moment, Mr. Sure said seriously, that child Xiao, he has a rather unusual personality. If he offends you in the future, I hope Xiao can forgive him. Hearing that, she lightly raised a hand and said, I'm very good at enduring things. Then the image of Duan Yu appeared. He was stepping on her hand, and though it hurt, she endured it without making a sound. Seeing that, Duan Yu had remarked, Gu Qing Xiao, you really are good at enduring. Returning to reality, the two had already arrived, but Qingqiao's expression darkened. Inside the reception hall of the Shi residence, the place was packed. Standing on the steps, the steward excitedly declared, "Our goal is," at that, everyone below shouted in unison, "to make the young master eat one bite." The steward raised his hand and continued, "Good. Today, everyone, lift your spirits. We must make the young master eat at least one bite. Whoever succeeds will receive a heavy reward of 1,000 taels of silver." The others quickly swore, "I'll stake the honor of 4 generations of imperial chefs on it. Let's do it, let's do it. Watch my 20 years of knife skills. You lot are all just showing off. Look at my family's 100-year secret sauce. One whiff of it, and you could eat 10 big bowls of rice." Hearing this, Qingqiao inwardly ached. No matter how severe the loss of appetite was, rewarding servants with 1,000 taels of silver for eating one meal was just absurdly extravagant. Mr. Shi then explained, "Silly girl, if I told you that every time young master Xiao merely tastes one bite of a new dish his father usually gives the cook 1,000 taels of gold, you'd probably go mad on the spot." Just then, 2 maids came out with a message. "Young master says the dishes may now be served." Qingqiao stepped into the lavish kitchen, and the image of being scolded by her father surfaced again. Separated by a curtain sat a refined young gentleman. She immediately crouched down to observe, when unexpectedly a servant came out to relay a message. Then a bowl of food was brought in, and that young gentleman immediately criticized it. "Too thick. Feed it to the pigs." 2 servants immediately dragged the person outside, while the man still struggled. "Madam, master, I'm sorry to the title of our 4th-generation royal chef." Another servant called out again, "Send number 2 into the hall." Another person came in trembling with a different dish. "Gigi golden toad, jade treasure." Before he even got close, the young gentleman smelled it from afar and immediately criticized it. "Too foul. I don't like this smell." That man was also dragged out, still refusing to give up as he struggled. "Young master, just taste one bite. One bite is all. It smells bad, but it tastes wonderful, really wonderful." The servant at the side helplessly covered his face and called out without any spirit left, "Send number 3 into the hall." Number 3 calmly carried in the food, but before he could even introduce it, he was waved away. "Don't want to eat." Just then Mr. Shi arrived and immediately shouted, "Don't be ridiculous. The clay pot hasn't even been opened yet. How do you know the dish isn't good?" Xiao immediately explained, "I wasn't talking about the dish. I was talking about him. He's too ugly. He affects my appetite." The man cried and tried to explain, "That's not it. In cooking, what matters most is inner beauty. Inner beauty." At that moment, the exhausted servant said, "Send number 4." And so it went in a line all the way to number 54. The person lying on the couch still had not touched a single grain of rice. Every answer remained the same: "Don't want it. No appetite. Don't like it." 3 servants burst into tears at the sight. "Young master, we beg you, at least eat a little." But the person lying on the bed remained perfectly at ease, tossing out words one after another. "Too salty. Too bland. What kind of blandness is this? Too little. Too dry. So greasy I'm sick of it." All 112 prepared dishes had been brought up, yet not a single one could catch the fancy of this noble young master. At last, Mr. Shi directly pulled back the curtain. "Ae, stop causing trouble. We've brought every famous chef in all of Tai Kingdom here for you. Why still won't you eat?" Outside, Qingqiao was thoroughly enjoying the gossip. Wonderful, wonderful. Even though the author of this story was always surprising her, it now seemed the author still couldn't let go of the timeless truth of transmigration and handsome men. Xiao, he still had his chin raised as he replied, "I'm just not eating. What can you do to me?" Qingqiao covered her mouth and laughed. Pouting was also a way of showing affection. Noel asked angrily, "Then what will it take for you to eat?" The boy immediately said, "Call 9th uncle you here. If 9th uncle you comes, then I'll eat." Hearing that, Qingqiao's imagination ran wild again. So he really did have someone in his heart. That person was 9th uncle you. This had to be a boy's love plot. At that thought, she let out a helpless sigh. No wonder he was using a hunger strike. In a traditional society, this kind of love would probably be hard to accept. Still, young master, don't worry. Your big sister Qingqiao here is a seasoned veteran of this sort of thing and will absolutely do her best to support and bless the love between you two. Just then, Noel said with a headache, "Why must you do this? Prince Duan is so busy. How could he come see you every day?" Qingqiao was stunned. There had only ever been one Prince Duan in court. Could it really be such a coincidence? Prince Duan even had a BL romance? Noel continued. Besides, he is already betrothed to Minister Gu's daughter. The wedding will be held next year. You cannot cling to him like before. At that, Xiao Yi clenched his fists in anger. That ugly woman Gu Qingxiao. I've long wanted to throw her to the dogs. Hearing this, Noel awkwardly explained, don't be like this. Miss Gu hasn't done anything wrong. Prince Duan was the one who personally came to propose. I hate her. Qingxiao broke out in a cold sweat and turned her face away, lamenting inwardly. Author, what deep blood feud do you have with me? Why have you written me into such a miserable state? Xiao Yi suddenly began trembling all over, his face dark as he said, if it weren't for her ninth uncle, you wouldn't be visiting me only once every 2 months. For her, ninth uncle Yu tamed Azure Beast. For her, he subdued the Qilin. He even transferred part of the self-regulating guards back to protect her. She has neither talent nor virtue. All she does all day is eat, drink, and play. How is she worthy of an immortal descended to Earth like ninth uncle Yu? Noel tried to reason with him. Ae, you've never even met Miss Gu. What gives you the right to say she has no talent and isn't beautiful? But Xiao Yi wouldn't listen and punched him right in the chest. I already sent people to look. They all said Gu Qingxiao is unbelievably ugly, like a round lump of meat. By now, Qingxiao had already begun picturing herself. So, I'm a round lump of meat? Suddenly, Noel shouted, enough! Xiao Yi froze for a moment. Noel grabbed his shoulders and said, Ae, you're being too childish. If you're this overbearing and unable to tell right from wrong, how will you ever shoulder great responsibilities in the future? At that, he let out a helpless sigh. Then, after a long silence, added, Ae, today your ninth uncle invited someone here. This elder sister will stay by your side for a while. Once you meet her, you'll naturally come to understand the ways of love in this world. She is Gu. At that moment, Qingxiao stepped forward and introduced herself. Young Master Xiao Yi, I am the nanny your ninth uncle hired for you. Seeing Xiao Yi's fierce expression, Gu Qingxiao quickly softened her tone. Young Master, you must remember this well. This servant's name is Du Chunxiao. Inwardly, she already felt the danger looming. Good heavens, the man beside her kept chattering in her ear. Why? Why lie to him? You could have just told him the truth. But Qingxiao only felt annoyed and thought, old man, what kind of nonsense are you on about? If I end up dead, will you take responsibility? I've already offended the precious person your lordship is protecting with all your heart. He could take my life at any moment. If you won't hand me your life, then I have to protect my own. She gave a cheerful laugh in reply and even waved her hand, which eased some of his anger. Sir, don't get agitated. Don't get agitated. Xiao Yi is too frail. He can't handle too much shock. The man surnamed sure frowned, unable to understand her. You didn't have to say your name was Chunxiao. How did you come up with such a ridiculous name? Qingxiao thought about it very naturally, then shrugged. Who knows? It just flashed through my mind at the time. Maybe in my previous life, my name really was Du Chunxiao. After returning to the minister's manor, Dongxi came running over the moment she saw her and exclaimed happily, Miss, Prince Duan sent you a letter. Qingxiao propped up her chin and reproached her. Why are you so excited? You didn't even ask how your mistress was doing today. Dongxi was instantly tongue-tied, not knowing how to answer. Mississippi. In the end, Qingxiao did not wait for Dongxi and began dragging over a chair. All right, read me the letter. Dongxi had been waiting for exactly that and beamed from ear to ear. Now that's my miss. The letter was long and densely packed with writing. My dearest little Xiao, how was your first day at the estate? Far from the prince's manor. This prince misses you with all his heart. Day and night, I cannot sleep in peace. In my heart, I only hope that you miss me just as I miss you. The world is full of danger, day and night. This prince prays for your safe return through every hardship. If by some chance misfortune should befall you, remember this. You must think first of returning to the prince's manor. This prince has arranged for Azure Beast to escort you into hiding. I guarantee that from one end of heaven and earth to the other, no one will be able to find you. With love, Duan Zunshang. There was more. Also, little Xiao, this prince is extremely fond of the most unique bundle you sent. I have already ordered the servants to copy it. Everyone says this pouch can hold a great many things. Such a small pouch can actually fit 5 baked cakes. Truly praiseworthy. Even Dongxi, after finishing the letter, felt it more strongly than her mistress did. Why did this love letter sound more like a curse? She could not help asking. So, Miss, Was His Highness unhappy that you moved out of the prince's manor? Qin Xiao shook her head. How could he be unhappy? Her thoughts immediately returned to the scene from that day. He had clearly been extremely unhappy. He had turned around and left on the spot. That night, Gu Qinxiao dreamed a terribly long nightmare unlike any she had ever had before. In the dream, Gu Qinxiao was a round ball of meat begging someone, "Young master, please eat me, eat me." On the bridge, he kept teasing her. "Round lump of meat, I'm not eating you." "What if you don't eat, then?" In another scene, Qin Xiao lowered her head and admitted fault. "No, all. I can't do this job anymore. Please spare me." That only made him angrier, and he scolded her. "Qin Xiao, I never thought you couldn't even manage feeding pigs. You truly disappoint me." She had no choice but to beg Prince Duan for help. Prince Duan pointed at the horse beside him and offered a condition. "Run faster than it, and then I'll help you. Run faster than it, and then I'll help you." In the end, she had no other way. "Now this is more like it. From now on, we won't be wasting the nation's grain anymore." At the Shur residence, the roosters had already begun crowing. A eunuch appeared outside her room to remind her, "Young master's breakfast hour is almost here. Sir Shur said for you to hurry to the dining hall and supervise the cooking." Qin Xiao ground her teeth, but in the end she had to swallow the humiliation. "For the sake of getting home, for the sake of the four spirits, I'll endure it." She pushed the door open in a gloomy, aggrieved mood, her face gaunt and her dark circles thick and obvious. The eunuch was so startled by the sight that he cried out, "Miss, do you need to go put on some makeup first?" Qin Xiao could not be bothered with him. She merely frowned and shot him a glance. "Didn't you say time was tight, eunuch? I've only just washed my face. I haven't even had time to rinse my mouth." He immediately looked displeased and waved his hand. "That won't do. Our young master has always preferred beautiful attendants. Everyone who serves by his side is good-looking. Though you do have a bit of beauty, miss, if you don't put some care into your appearance, I'm afraid you won't even be able to get close enough to serve young master later." Inside, Qin Xiao was about to explode, but on the surface, she still acted obedient and agreed wholeheartedly. "Eunuch, you are absolutely right. Just looking at your handsome face, one can tell our young master must be especially fond of slender beauties. But Chun Xiao overslept today, so changing outfits will have to wait until tomorrow. When serving, Chun Xiao will stand a little farther away and won't offend our young master's eyes." With that coquettish manner, even the frowning eunuch softened and let it pass. True enough, a bit of natural beauty still needs the proper clothes to match. You can't paint a tiger and end up with a dog. Yes, yes, yes. Outwardly, she continued smiling and agreeing, but inwardly, she was already cursing him. What a pain. Absolutely unbearable. The kitchen below was in a loud, bustling uproar. The palace maids hurried back and forth, each busy with her own task. The moment she entered, her eyes widened in shock. "Why are there so many people?" The eunuch drowsily explained. "If there's a special occasion and extra dishes are added, naturally more hands are needed. How could our young master's breakfast possibly be done carelessly?" Chun Xiao, alarmed, stepped inside and raised her voice. "Is anyone there?" Inwardly, she was calculating. That know-all definitely spoiled this Xiao, like he was Buddha himself. The eunuch glanced around the kitchen and muttered, 80 people. Unless young master is drinking soup with breakfast. Drinking soup? Miss, are you joking? Qin Xiao, forced into a corner, explained awkwardly. Clearly there are 48 dishes. How could he possibly drink all that? Of course they're arranged on the table, so it's convenient for young master to eat. 48 different dishes. Yet inside she was anything but calm and was desperately screaming for help. "So which dishes have you all prepared so far?" Every day, young master's breakfast requires 32 chefs and 48 attendants, making 80 people in total. Trouble the eunuch to let me know. Qin Xiao swayed as she rattled off the list in one breath. For breakfast, there is stewed pigeon soup, fried oil cakes, longjing bamboo shoots, roasted venison, suckling roast pig, milk with tuckahoe mushrooms, rainbow shrimp, and beef in oyster sauce. A chef standing behind her checked his records and nodded. "Reply, miss, those dishes are all there." Imperial Chef Manhwa has also prepared bird's nest with greens and palace ginseng. These bizarre dishes were things she had truly never heard of before. What in the world was palace ginseng? The eunuch seized the chance to show off and explained, "Palace ginseng is personally made by Master Gua. The fresh radishes are carefully cultivated. They must be grown in palace soil, so they can absorb the vital essence of heaven and earth. Only 8 grow each year. They're nothing like the cheap stuff outside. Those 8 are then meticulously marinated by Master Gua and finally become premium pickled radish. But Qin Xiao only trembled and muttered in disdain, "You people are idiots. It's just pickled radish. Why are you making such a grand production out of it? Go on, torment yourselves. Torment yourselves thoroughly. Life is all about torment anyway. If you don't torment yourself, you're not a pillar of the nation." The table gradually filled with every kind of dish. Palace maids moved in and out nonstop, and every dish was beautifully decorated. Xiao Yi walked in with cold eyes, glancing over each dish without the slightest emotion. The only wish in the hearts of everyone around him was eat, please eat, please eat. I beg you, just one bite. In the end, he summed it up with one dispirited sentence. Not a single one suits my taste. Too ordinary. Outside, Qin Xiao stood there in a daze, thinking that if there were any phrase to describe the two people, it would be beautiful as flowers. 2 young women knelt on the floor, sobbing. "Young master, please eat a few more bites." But the person beside her kept jabbing at her, as if signaling, "Don't provoke him anymore." As if this young lady were itchy for trouble. "Hurry up already." Noel was grinding his teeth in fury, yet Qin Xiao still argued back stubbornly. "Why are you looking at me with such hatred? Look at the lovely scenery by your side. One should be broad-minded in life." Finally, he reminded her sternly, "Gu Qin Xiao, do you still want to gather information or not?" She pouted unhappily. How heartless. Always going straight for other people's weak spots. She sighed and shuffled out. "Young master, today's dishes were all carefully prepared by the chefs. It's fine if you don't like them, but at least you should try them and see how they taste." Xiao Yi glanced back at her coldly. "Who are you?" She pointed at herself and introduced herself with a smile. "This servant is Chun Xiao, young master, your new nanny. Don't you recognize me?" Hearing this, he did not care in the slightest. "Oh, so you're the one my 9th uncle brought in? I don't need a nanny. Whether I eat or not has nothing to do with you." Qin Xiao clicked her tongue and explained, "Young master, that's not right. It may have nothing to do with a nanny's duties, but it does have something to do with Prince Duan." The moment his secret crush was mentioned, Xiao Yi brightened and quickly asked, "What does it have to do with Prince Duan?" Qin Xiao seemed to have found his weak spot. "Don't you want Prince Duan to like you? To make Prince Duan like you, the first thing is that your body needs to be fair and plump. Why do you think that is? Look, doesn't Prince Duan now like that round, soft, pudgy Gu Qin Xiao? His Highness only likes full, chubby people. If you want him to like you, then first you have to put on weight." To make Xiao Yi believe her, she could only drag herself down as much as possible. For the earth spirit, her reputation, and everything else no longer mattered at this point. "Noel, stop praising me like I know everything. I'm fat. Interesting, interesting." At that moment, Xiao Yi suddenly smiled wickedly. "You've gone to such lengths to persuade me to eat. How much is my 9th uncle paying you for this?" At the mention of that issue, Qin Xiao let out a long sigh and shook her head in complaint. "Not much, no matter how I count it." She smacked her lips. "It isn't much. To some people it's a lot, to others it's little. Talk more, and it isn't more. Talk less, and it isn't less. What you think is much, he thinks is little. What he thinks is much, someone else thinks is little. More or less, less or more. Can that really be made clear in just a few words?" Inwardly, she was rather pleased with this answer. Thank you, masters. Thank you for teaching me these manipulation techniques." At last, she had won a bit of Xiao Yi's interest. "You're far more interesting than the others. No wonder my 9th uncle sought you out. Come here. This young master will give you some face today. Tell me, which dish on the table is the best?" Qin Xiao looked at the mountain of food until her vision blurred. She couldn't remember any of it and could only introduce one at random. "I heard Imperial Chef Master Gua's Palace Pickled Radish takes extraordinary craftsmanship and is a masterpiece rarely seen in this world." At once, a man surnamed Gua hurried out the moment he heard his dish being praised. "Your servant is here. This palace radish dish was created with utmost care and is extremely unique. I humbly ask young master to taste it once." Xiao Yi glanced at him, resting his chin on one hand in thought. "So you're Master Gua. Come up here and tell me what is so special about this pile of shredded radish." Master Gua respectfully presented his first selling point. "I first invite young master to examine it with a magnifying lens." Seeing what he took out, even Qin Xiao exclaimed in amazement. A chef who even had a magnifying lens? Unless you're Li Siguang. Xiao Yi and Qin Xiao leaned in, and saw complete lines of tiny carved characters on each strip of radish. This time, Qin Xiao was genuinely convinced. It wasn't that she had never seen flattery before, but flattery carried out with this much devotion deserved admiration. I submit, but Xiaoyi still looked uninterested. Carving words into it doesn't count as anything special. So the man immediately revealed his second trump card. After carving the radish, this servant uses a long needle to hollow out the inside, then stuffs it with thinly sliced radish, fresh bamboo shoots, and shiitake mushrooms. That way, when a young master eats it, not only will he enjoy its delicious flavor, it will also strengthen his body and preserve his youth. This time, Qin Xiao truly had her horizons broadened. Uncle, I was wrong. You're not some uneducated bumpkin at all. You're a nutrition expert, a world-class flatterer. Everyone says people in ancient times were easy to fool, but from what a transmigrator can see, this guy is clearly a real master. Incredible. Seeing her expression, Xiao Yi glanced at her and asked, "Do you really think his cooking is that good?" Qin Xiao nodded vigorously at once. He immediately broke into a strange smile. Then you can finish these 2 trays of food. If even one strand of vegetable is left, this young master will have your backside beaten until you can't speak. Every word stabbed straight into her heart. Seeing that Qin Xiao didn't react at all, Xiaoyi frowned and repeated himself. "I'm talking to you, ugly thing." But Qin Xiao acted as though she were deaf and patted Master Guo on the shoulder in reminder. "Master Guo, the young master is calling for you." Inwardly, she deliberately brushed off his intention. Ugly thing? Who is that supposed to be? Obviously not a beautiful transmigrator like me. So Master Guo, I can only let you suffer this injustice for the moment. He narrowed his eyes and muttered, "He's clearly talking about you." Seeing her play dumb, Xiaoyi frowned and reminded her again, "I'm not calling anyone else. I mean you wicked old hag with a poisonous tongue." Then Qin Xiao even turned and asked the other women, "Hey, you're all so lovely. Why would the young master be so cruel as to call you wicked old hags?" They all had only one thought in their hearts. This woman is truly shameless. In the end, she finally provoked him. "You shameless creature, why aren't you getting over here to beg forgiveness?" Qin Xiao immediately ran to Know-all, sighed, and complained in a low voice, "Your nephew is scolding me. He's got some nerve, daring to offend his superior. Hurry up and discipline him." At that moment, he had only one thought. Little Xiao is so clever and lively, far too adorable. Infuriated, Xiao Yi slammed the table and chairs. "Men, drag this wretched girl outside and beat her. Beat her hard. Beat her to death." The servants, terrified, immediately dropped to their knees and begged, "Young master, please calm your anger. Please calm your anger." Standing among the crowd, Know-all was no less angry. He shouted, "Insolence! Hey, Miss Du is an honored guest I invited here. No matter what, you are not allowed to lay a hand on her." Xiaoyi snipped furiously. "Unle, you actually allowed this vile and shameless woman into the residence. She even dared use ninth Uncle Yu's jade to threaten me. She's this shameless, and you still protect her." But he still defended Qin Xiao. "Hey, don't be like this. Miss Du has a special status. No matter what, you cannot let her come to harm. Otherwise, you'll regret it later." Blinded by rage, Xiaoyi didn't care in the slightest even for his uncle's words. "I won't regret it. Uncle, get out of the way. Let me beat her to death." But Know-all quickly pulled her away and ran. "Hey, listen to your uncle. You cannot harm Miss Chun Xiao." He shouted angrily at the sky. What kind of background does this woman have for Mr. Shirt to protect her like this? "Do Chun Xiao, just you wait." Before leaving, she even stuck out her tongue and teased him. "Young master, I'm getting off work now. Stay here by yourself and calm down first. I'll come serve you again tomorrow." Chun Xiao. Once outside, Know-all explained awkwardly, Xiao, that child Xiao, he has a fiery temper. Sometimes you have to stroke him with a grain." But she stuck out her tongue, propped up her chin, and giggled. "As long as you protect me, I won't have to worry about anything, right?" He pinched her cheek and muttered, "Don't push it too far. Ai's nature is simple. He's just been spoiled rotten by me and his father." At that, she merely shrugged and offered one piece of advice. "If you keep indulging him like this, sooner or later something will happen." Memories of the past slowly drifted back. The child's mother died early. Before she passed, she tearfully begged me to take good care of him. He's my only nephew, so of course I want to give him the best of everything. Ai is in your hands now. The reeds are lush and green. White dew turns to frost. The one I think of, where in this world are they now? In a room in the Sure residence. That night, Qin Xiao tossed and turned, utterly unable to sleep. She muttered, "Something's not right. Not right at all." She groped around below. "Ow, what just poked me?" For years, I only wished the gentle breeze would carry me away and stay by my side forever. After being steeped in romance novels for so many years, the romantic cells in Gu Qingqiao's brain had begun operating automatically, spinning out sorrowful yet beautiful love stories on their own. By then, she had already thought her way into an entire romance drama. "Brother Sure, didn't you say you would marry me? Brother Sure, so you really have forgotten me, my lover." The more Qin Xiao thought, the deeper she sank into it. As she thought, she wiped away tears. In the end, she simply walked to the writing desk, picked up a brush, and wrote a passage on paper. The page quickly filled with words. Mandarin ducks dwell together, paired butterflies fly, spring colors fill the garden and leave me intoxicated. Quietly, I asked the meditation master, "Am I beautiful? Is this girl beautiful? Why speak of power and riches? Why fear strict rules and pure precepts? I wish only for eternity, so I may remain forever beside the one I love. To love you, only wishing to stay together in this life." After writing that, she sighed. The lyrics of Daughter's love from Journey to the West. I adored them from childhood, so I've always known them by heart. But now, sigh, I've somehow drifted dazedly into this ancient age, this godforsaken place where even birds wouldn't bother to crap, and that Dongshi forgot to latch the window properly again. Because of the wind, the letter fluttered right out. Where's the paper? At that moment, Qin Xiao felt completely numb. I'm done for. Thinking about spring feelings would have been one thing, but there were also the words meditation master in it. If it fell into someone else's hands, they would definitely think the precious daughter of Minister Gu didn't love the prince at all, but had fallen for a monk instead. This piece of news would absolutely rank in the top 3 worst scandals of the dynasty. Headline number 1. Minister Gu's daughter forsakes the prince for a monk. Headline number 2. Prince Duan loses to a monk and gets dumped. She frantically searched for the paper all night long. I'm doomed. I'm doomed. Where did it fall? Did the wind carry it away? Maybe I should follow the wind and search again. Qin Xiao had no choice but to run outside and look for it. It probably blew out the window. Let's search over there. But the moment she stepped outside, she ran straight into a stranger. Very quickly, the masked person dragged her away. Who are you? At last, she learned exactly who had brought her here. Qin Xiao gaped in shock. Sitting grandly on a gilded chair, "Xiao," he called out. "Beauty." Qin Xiao jumped in fright. "Xiao Yi, what place is this? If you needed something from me, couldn't have waited until tomorrow? Why invite me here in the middle of the night?" Hearing that word, he gave a disdainful sneer. "Invite? Beauty, you think too much. How could I possibly invite you here? Of course I had someone knock you unconscious and drag you into this secret chamber." Only then did Qin Xiao realize that she was in real danger. "You man surnamed Xiao, did you take the wrong medicine? How dare you secretly abduct me here? Aren't you afraid No-All will skin you alive?" But he was as bold as if he'd swallowed a tiger's gall, and I didn't care at all. "Don't use Mr. Sure to threaten me. Besides, my surname isn't Xiao. It's Duan." Qin Xiao frowned, as if realizing something. "Duan? Duan Xiaoyi? You, and Prince Duan, what relationship do you have?" Resting his hand against himself, he gave a few details. "My father is his elder brother. He is my father's own younger brother. You tell me what relationship we have." A whole string of improper plot lines burst into Qin Xiao's mind. "Ninth Uncle Duan, I truly love you. So, it's an uncle-nephew forbidden affair? Incest? My eyes. Author, I can't take it anymore. Come save me. My good child, your uncle's heart is full of you too." The masked person immediately lashed out with a whip and smashed a teacup. Qin Xiao had provoked Xiao Yi nearly to death with anger. "What incest are you babbling about? My feelings for Ninth Uncle Yu are clearly admiration." But her expression made her words sound entirely different. Right. The two of you have a pure male bond." Furious, he pointed straight at her. "How could the likes of you possibly understand what I'm thinking? Ninth Uncle Yu is a heavenly being descended to this world. No one is allowed to belittle him. Since childhood, he has been brilliantly gifted, the perfect man in everyone's eyes. Everyone says that as long as they can be by his side. Even if it's only to admire flowers or gaze at the moon. The flowers seem more vivid and the moon brighter and rounder." As he spoke of Prince Duan, Xiao, he could hardly wait to pour out all the admiration in his heart. "Prince Duan, look at me. For love, I want to shine even more brightly. Your Highness, look at me, look at me. Qing Xiao inwardly cried out, I'm doomed. So everyone knows about the way I showed affection to Prince Duan. To calm Xiao Yi down, she had no choice but to follow his lead. Yes, Prince Duan and the young master are both exceptional men. Every gesture of yours is splendid. Chun Xiao should never have speculated about the relationship between the two of you. Chun Xiao was foolish. Chun Xiao was stupid. Please, young master, for Mr. Shi's sake, spare Chun Xiao this once. Xiao Yi immediately looked displeased. Don't use Mr. Shi to threaten me. You lowly slave. Let me tell you, don't be a frog at the bottom of a well. Other than His Majesty, no one in this world can threaten me. Qing Xiao gaped as another whole set of plot twists unfolded in her mind. Could it be, Your Highness is the Empress? It seems Chun Xiao truly failed to recognize Mount Tai, and with eyes wide open still couldn't tell male from female. He thumped his chest furiously and declared, I'm the Crown Prince, the Crown Prince, the Crown Prince. I'm a man. Didn't I already say Prince Duan is my blood-related uncle? Qing Xiao immediately gave in and followed along. This servant greets the Crown Prince. Long live the Crown Prince. Long live forever. Chun Xiao was muddle-headed for a moment. Please forgive me, Your Highness. Don't provoke him. The young woman behind him quickly saw through Qing Xiao's intentions. Your Highness, this one seems to be pretending to be foolish. That sharp gaze fixed on her maid, Qing Xiao, even more wary. It's fine. Watching her act pitiful is amusing too. Xiao, he stepped forward and pronounced, lowly slave, I had you brought here tonight to tell you this. The 3 words Prince Duan are not words someone like you has the right to say. In broad daylight, you dared use him to mock me. That is a capital offense. Qing Xiao merely curled her lips in disdain. Isn't that a bit exaggerated? Just mentioning your uncle's title and you're already talking about beheading me? To save her own life, Qing Xiao immediately slipped into character, tears welling in her eyes. Your Highness, she wailed, please don't admire one person too much. The one you should truly revere most is your father, His Majesty the Emperor. Look at this magnificent realm. Everything belongs to His Majesty. His Majesty is the truly formidable one. Chun Xiao admires His Majesty like a mighty river that flows without end. Her voice rang through the whole room. What's so great about being emperor? The truly impressive thing is being able not to become emperor. Back when Imperial Grandfather fell gravely ill, he originally wanted to pass the throne to 9th Uncle Yu, but 9th Uncle Yu refused. He said that to be emperor meant living for the realm and the people. But a man only has one lifetime, and he wished to live only for himself. Live only for himself. Hearing those words, Xiao Yi once again grew excited and shouted, Isn't that incredible? 9th Uncle Yu transcended the mundane world. He cares nothing for power and glory. In Qing Xiao's heart, her contempt had already risen to the highest point. I scoff, and this is called not caring for power and glory. This is clearly selfishness, refusing to shoulder responsibility. After thinking it over and facing reality, Qing Xiao decided she still had better submit. Once more she wailed, kowtowed, and echoed him. Prince Duan is truly a once-in-a-thousand-years talent. He is indeed worthy of your Highness's admiration. At that moment, the whip-wielding young woman beside him had only one question. Your Highness, why tell this lowly slave such secret palace history? He gave a cold little laugh and answered, It doesn't matter. She's going to die anyway. Hearing those words, Qing Xiao felt as though she had inhaled poison and her whole body went rigid. I'm going to die. She collapsed to her knees on the ground in shock. How is that possible? I've been so careful. I didn't eat your food. Even my breathing has been in sync with yours. How could I possibly die? Xiao Yi laughed. You thought I poisoned you? Looks like you're not completely stupid. But to deal with a tiny shrimp like you, why would I need poison? He put on airs. I'll just use a sword to kill you directly, burn the corpse, dissolve the bones into water. Guaranteed, no one will ever notice a thing. At that, Qing Xiao immediately stammered out a plea. Don't do this. Mr. Shi will find out. He'll come settle accounts with you. He laughed out loud. Silly girl, are you dreaming? Even if Mr. Shi finds out, by then you'll already be dead. No one would be able to save you. Do you think he'd really turn against his own nephew? As he spoke, he looked at the strange young woman beside him and gave the order, Roi, finish her. Yes, seeing the mature young woman draw her sword. Qing Xiao trembled and shrank into the corner. No, it shouldn't be like this. It can't be like this. Don't hold it like that. This plot is wrong. I haven't even gone around flirting with handsome men yet. I haven't even stirred up a storm of blood and tears. How can I die here quietly already?" She screamed, "Zijing, save me." A sharp sound rang out, knocking the sword flying backward. "Who's there?" Noel arrived just in time and broke through the encirclement. "Ruai, stay your hand." Seeing someone had come, Qin Xiao cried even more miserably, "Mr. Sure, save me." Noel stood in front of her and commanded, "Ruai, are you tired of living? I said she was not to be touched, yet you still dared attack." At that moment, he stepped forward, thumped his chest, and took responsibility. "I'm the one who wanted to kill her." Those words shocked Noel so badly that he nearly burst into flames. You wicked brat. Miss Chunxiao is an honored guest. She cannot be touched, cannot be touched. He found Zijing's protective attitude toward her even more unpleasant to look at. "Uncle, why are you protecting her so much? Unless she has some special background." Noel let out a long sigh and had no choice but to reveal the truth. "I won't hide it from you. In fact, she is." Terrified, Qin Xiao sprang up and clung to him. "Save me, don't. Is this pig-headed Sure trying to make me die even faster?" Xiao Yi's mind spun through all sorts of scenarios. This Chun Xiao is ninth uncle's goddaughter. Noel had no choice but to grab a random excuse. "Chun Xiao is my friend's daughter. Her maternal grandfather rendered outstanding military service during the wars of founding the dynasty and was once commended by His Majesty. That's why you cannot touch her." But this only made Xiao Yi more suspicious. If she's really the daughter of an official family, how can she lack even the slightest bearing of a noble lady raised in the inner chambers? From behind him, she cried out again, "Reporting to your highness. Chun Xiao lost her family early and grew up in a mountain village, so she doesn't understand proper etiquette. Please forgive me, your highness the crown prince." But Xiao Yi still did not quite believe it. "Truth mixed with lies. I think the two of you are joining forces to deceive me just to stay alive." From behind him, she threatened in a low voice, "I don't care. Hurry and think of something." Forced by her threat, Noel could only try his best to placate him with a detailed explanation. Chun Xiao hasn't had an easy life. Her temperament may be a little strange, but since she is my adopted daughter, she counts as half family no matter what. Don't make things difficult for her anymore." From behind him, Qin Xiao also had no choice but to go along, bowing her head and putting on a pitiful act. "Your Highness the Crown Prince, spare my life. I truly didn't mean it." Only then did Xiao Yi calm down somewhat. "Fine, since Uncle personally pleaded for you, I won't touch you again in the future." Then he added his own opinion. "From now on, I'll call you Sister Chun Xiao. I'll treat you like family. Is that enough?" Before leaving, Noel even cleared his throat and reminded her, "Why aren't you kneeling to thank the young master yet?" She hurriedly obeyed. "Many thanks, young master." Once outside, Qin Xiao still had not recovered from the fright. It was terrifying. "Noel, that Duan fellow Xiao Yi is actually the current crown prince? Why didn't you warn me about any of this?" At the mention of it, Noel let out a soft sigh. "So you found out? You must have let it slip." He even patted her on the head and comforted her a few times. "Don't worry, Xiao. Noel would never harm you. The crown prince is hiding his identity and living outside for now, so he must have his own difficulties. Besides, although has a very strange temperament, he isn't a bad child. I only ask that you bear with him a little." Disgust had already taken root in her heart, and she muttered curses under her breath. What a bizarre temper. That night, because of that shocking incident, Qin Xiao had a nightmare. No. In the dream, Xiao Yi clung to her like a vengeful ghost, trying to kill her without stop. "Don't kill me." So it was only a dream. Qin Xiao let out a frightened sigh of relief. In a chaotic time and place like this, so unfamiliar to her, who could she rely on? Who could she trust? Who would speak honestly to her? "I want to go home. I miss home so much." In the days that followed, Miss Qin Xiao obediently stayed at the Sure residence and served Xiao Yi's meals every day. Young Master Xiao Yi remained just as picky as ever. Xiao Yi still kept up his impossible, difficult habits. Not eating. Behind him, Qin Xiao was about to lose it. Why won't he eat this? Why won't he eat that? And yet he still hasn't starved to death. Strange. Truly strange. At last she understood. "Young master, it's time to take your medicine." So the little brat was living off nourishing medicinal tonics. At mealtime, he started complaining again. Fish, too greasy, too bland, too salty. I won't eat it. Take it away. Don't want it. Too oily, too ugly. There are scallions in it. In the end, Qin Xiao had to realize one truth. It seemed this boy was not trying to torment himself. Acting picky every single day like this, he was probably doing it on purpose for someone to see. Every day, he put on airs and frowned dramatically. Not eating. Fish, too greasy, too oily. Take it all away. I don't want it. Don't want to eat it. There are scallions. The eunuchs waited beside him with painstaking devotion. Young master, for the master's sake, please have a bite. Young master, we beg you, just one bite. Suddenly Xiao, he crooked a finger and called her over. Chun Xiao, come here. Qin Xiao nearly jumped out of her skin. What is it? He pointed at the freshly served bowl of soup. Come here. Look at this. Coming, crossing one leg over the other, he asked casually, Chun Xiao, what do you think of this bowl of bird's nest soup? Qin Xiao forced a smile and explained, this dish is crystal clear in color and wonderfully fragrant. It is a top-grade bowl of bird's nest soup. Young master, please don't waste heaven's bounty. Eat a couple of bites. Hearing that, Xiao Yi resorted to a trick. Fine, if you feed me, I'll eat. Everyone fell silent. Chun Xiao smiled and fed him the soup. Is it good? Seeing the clear satisfaction on Xiao Yi's face, she laughed softly and asked again, is it good? Then she heard the answer. I want more. The servants all breathed a sigh of relief. The young master ate. The young master ate. The young master asked for food on his own. I never would have thought I'd live to see the day when a young master actually eats. At last he was willing to eat. I'm full. No more. Everyone may withdraw. He waved a hand. You, go to the accounting room and receive a reward of 2,000 taels. Eunuch Shu, remember to reward today's cook with 2,000 taels for making the bird's nest soup. Yes. The cook dropped to his knees, crying with emotion. The reward had doubled. I've struck it rich. I've struck it rich. At last I've struck it rich. Thank you, young master. Resting his chin on his hand, he reminded them, no need to thank me. The one you should thank is this Miss Chun Xiao. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't eat no matter what was brought to me. All the maids obediently took in every word. We understand. So that was the key. It was Gu Qin Xiao. From now on, they would have to flatter her properly. But the two women who served close to the crown prince clearly looked displeased. Qin Xiao turned away and sighed. Ladies, could you make your hostility any more obvious? It seemed this novel had finally gotten back on track as a transmigration story after all. She would not be caught off guard anymore. Judging by the current development, it was very likely that before long there would be a supporting female character driven by jealousy to frame her. Just then, one of the women suddenly exclaimed, Young master, your hand is injured? Qin Xiao immediately seized on the key point and muttered to herself, no way. Framed this quickly already? I'm not even ready for battle yet. But he flicked his hand away and replied with a frown, last night I was practicing martial arts in the mountains with martial uncle. We were attacked by bandits, and I was careless and got hit. The two women immediately echoed each other in righteous outrage. Who could be so formidable? Even with Grand Tutor Song protecting you, someone still managed to get close to you, young master. But Xiaoyi did not seem to care much. His voice was already turning listless. The Grand Tutor said that person's moves were strange. He couldn't tell what sect they came from. But I remember that bandit saying he came looking for a maid named Ding Ding. Do any of you know whether there is someone by that name in the residence? Standing nearby and listening in, she gathered information. They were making such a big fuss over a single maid. How idle could they be? Go ahead and investigate. In any case, you won't get a single clue. The two women exchanged puzzled looks. We servants have never heard that name before. We will investigate at once. After they left, he chuckled to himself. Ding Ding? Why does that name sound so funny? Beside him, Qin Xiao had only one thought. Author, what are you doing now? Qin Xiao even followed him to the martial training grounds in the mountains. There was no running across rooftops and scaling walls, no skimming over water, no shifting heaven and earth, no divine art of the northern sea, no 90 manual. Just how long am I supposed to watch this guy wave his sword around? No, I have to quickly figure out a way to fatten up the crown prince, get the imperial spirit, find the other two things, and then go home. Suddenly, a commotion broke out below. A group in white and a group in black were charging at each other and fighting. Sister Ding Ding, your good big brother has come to find you. Why aren't you hurrying out to meet me? Qin Xiao turned away, so angry she felt sick. I knew it. I knew it. This author never lets anything rest. From now on, I will not harbor a single fantasy about you ever again. Inside the carriage, Qin Xiao cast an exasperated glance outside. Xiao, he was in the carriage too, tightly bound. Su Zheng lightly teased her. Good little sister, why are you unhappy? She was seething inside. Wonderful. And he's actually asking why I'm unhappy. What kind of bandit asks a question like that? A demon really is a demon. She stared wide-eyed at what he was doing now, then let out her 124th sigh. Su Zheng showed off with a grin. What is it? You don't like it? I specially made this for you. I was afraid that when I saw you, you might forget me. So I had people make 148 flags overnight. 148 flags, no less. Su Zheng even leaned in excitedly, eager to show them off at once. This is nothing. Good little sister, Big Brother also prepared a special gift for you. I guarantee you'll be very happy when you see it. At that moment, she had only one wish. Let me die quickly. Su Zheng leaned out and raised a flag. A whole row of flags was hoisted high, creating a style never seen before. Ding ding flags. Su Zheng even laughed loudly and asked for her opinion. Pretty, right? I think this flag suits your style perfectly. Qin Xiao only covered her face, not daring to look a second time. The flag is beautiful. I like it very much. He beamed. I knew Sister Ding Ding would like it. At that moment, Xiao, he spoke from behind with a displeased expression. Her name isn't Ding Ding. Chun Xiao, why didn't you tell this great hero your real name? Exposed, Qin Xiao hurriedly explained, Brother Dang Dang, but yet he did not seem to care at all. So little sister's name is Chun Xiao. No matter, no matter. Big Brother also has another name, Lu Sikong. From now on, you can call me Brother Sikong. Xiao, he felt stifled and barked out. How dare you? Chun Xiao, you are my maid, yet you dare flirt with this rebel right in front of me. Caught between the two of them, she felt so miserable she could have cried. Trying to be obedient and afraid Xiao he would come settle accounts with her again later, she softly asked Brother Lu in return, Brother Sikong, could you let him go first, and then we can talk things over slowly? But he thought that would not be convenient. This brat has some skill. If I let him go, he might cause trouble. Only she knew that he was provoking a hornet's nest that absolutely could not be stirred up. Old brother, the person you've tied up is the crown prince of the current dynasty. I'm afraid there is no trouble greater than this. This is the end of the episode. If you enjoyed it, please give me a like and a share, so I'll have more motivation to make more videos. Remember to follow so you can watch the next episodes. Wishing you a day full of energy.